Okay, hello and welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. It is me, Scott, once again joined by Rob. How you doing, Rob?
I'm Gucci.
Good to hear. Right, so what we're going to do today is, as you see from the graphic, we are talking Survivor Series 2012. Now, it's the most recent PPV, as it would have been known back then, that we are doing a watch-along of. And it's for that reason, it's exciting. I never choose to go back and watch pay-per-views from this era. So it's going to be quite an interesting one. So stick with us, and we'll be back right after this, talking Survivor Series 2012.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.
Okay, so as we just said, we are here to talk about Survivor Series 2012. So whether you're watching live or on demand, we thank you for joining us. Drop in your comments, let us know what you remember of this show. And also, of course, at the end of it, spoiler alert, something big is going to happen. Big for the show, but also big for the future of the WWE, and we'll touch on that a little bit more later on, Rob. Of course, every time we do these watch-alongs, we start it by kind of getting everyone set up and ready, and getting ourselves set up and ready. But we talk about kind of early memories before watching it, and then of course we give our thoughts throughout, and then after the show, we also give a little bit of a kind of quick rundown. I think it'd be interesting to focus on, especially what happens at the end of this show for a little bit of a segment as well, because it's a 10-year anniversary of this show, and of course of what happens at the end of it. So why don't we run through kind of basic memories at the moment, Rob? Now, for me, as I said, I don't usually go back and watch shows from this era. I don't think I've ever done that. I think the closest thing I've ever come to doing something like that was, I think I background watched, or at least watched a few matches from WrestleMania 25, which of course is only 3 years previous to this, 2009, and that was only because I was there. So
was you looking for yourself?
As always. Now I've watched clips, moments, matches from this era, particularly the CM Punk stuff because of the Summer of Punk and things like that, which happens just a year previous to this, and also, again, not to be like, oh, I've been to WrestleMania, but the year after this, I went to WrestleMania in 2013 as well. So this is kind of the build towards that Mania starting to pick up. Of course, the road to it, of course, officially starts with the Rumble, they say. But yeah, I'm interested to see kind of how this leads towards what I know happens at that Mania, because of course we look back on history and we look at the pinpoints we're talking about on the 2002 show, where you're like, oh, they're in this part of this feud, or oh, I always thought this happened a few months later and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see for that in a period that I really have kind of blurred together and zoned out on quite a bit, because this generation just feels so like I'm older, basically. I'm not a kid anymore. It's not as nostalgic for me, but there are people that will look back on this as like the golden years for them, so just your kind of early thoughts on that, Rob. What you thinking?
Listen, the only thing and it sounds bad for the pay-per-view, obviously, or the PLE, which it isn't. But the only thing I remember is the thing that we're going to talk about later, because I think that was the important thing for. And the thing is, I believe I remember what match it happens in, but I might be wrong there as well. I can't.
Okay. Well,
it's over one or two matches.
Yeah. I know exactly when it happens. I remember exactly when it happens, or what and why it happens. You should remember why it happens, Rob, because that's an interesting thing that kind of
vaguely.
Okay.
I'm going to throw out a thing and say I think it's in the WWE Championship match.
Okay, well,
but for some reason I was thinking to myself, it's a Survivor Series match, isn't it? But then I might be thinking later on, I can't remember.
Wow, so you're not that good on your memory of this show. Of course, I was going to ask, do you remember where you were when you watched it? Because there are some pay-per-views from this time frame where I do remember where I was. I was at I used to go, do a lot of house parties and watching wrestling and stuff like that. Dan, of course, usually on some of these streams as well. We had a few house parties at his around this time as well, where a few of us will get a lot of wrestling fans together, and even casual fans. They're always fun to do. People hop in and out around these kind of things as well. So yeah, going to be interesting going over it once again. But before we do get started with the show, let's just kind of throw a few things out there. Firstly, what we're going to do is we'll bring up a timestamp, of course, so that we can watch along together. So whether you're watching on the network, you're watching on Peacock, or you're watching on Blu-ray or DVD, we're going to VHS with this stream. I don't think VHS was long gone by this point, but they were trying on, I guess, 4K DVD, so you could have one of them. But no, HD DVD, that was it, and then 4K Blu-rays. Anyway, we're going to go into that, of course. Now, annoyingly, on the 2002 watch along for Survivor Series that we did there, we had an issue with, we were both on the network, but one of us had a stream that was 5 minutes longer than the other. So you had a stream that included Saliva's song and dance at the World, and I didn't get that. So the alignment went a bit funky, but if you do want to watch that show, please go back and give it a chance, because we do kind of hopefully fix it enough to help you still enjoy it with us, because we kind of put the comments in the description as to where it goes a little bit wrong and how you can jump back on top. But of course, that was the 2002 Survivor Series watch along. 20 years since the first ever Elimination Chamber, and of course, as of time of recording, Rob, we are on our way to War Games being performed at Survivor Series as well. So it was a nice little kind of tribute to that. And also, this is a 10-year anniversary, and a 10-year anniversary again for something quite big in the old federation as well. So with that being said, let's jump into the card. Are you ready? You got it up there, mate?
Yeah, I'm ready when you are. I mean, I've been able to pre-read it this time, as I didn't last time, and I kind of just merged every match together.
Yeah.
Here we got Brodus Clay, Justin Gabriel, Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara.
There are some names there already, buddy. Sorry to cut you off, but my goodness.
With Cameron and Naomi, so at that point they were the Funkadactyls.
I love the Funkadactyls.
I believe. Versus PTP, which is Darren Young and Titus O'Neil.
Okay,
Primo and Epico, and Tensai with Rosa Mendes. I'm assuming Rosa Mendes was with Primo and Epico, right? Not Tensai.
She was for a bit, yeah, and I don't remember Tensai aligning himself with her.
And that's a 5-on-5 series elimination match.
Okay.
And then we've got Eve Torres, who's a champion, versus Caitlyn in a singles match for the WWE Divas Championship.
Wow. To be fair, two standouts from that period that I really enjoyed both their work. So yeah.
It's weird saying diva now.
Yeah. It's almost a dirty word now, isn't it?
It is. Antonio Cesaro, which is weird to say again.
Yeah, full name, love it. Love it.
Yeah. Who's a champion versus R-Truth in a singles match for the WWE United States Championship.
Okay.
And then Big Show, who is the champion, versus Sheamus in a singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship, which is lovely to say, because that is one of my favorite belts on this year.
Yeah.
And then we've got Team Ziggler, which is Alberto Del Rio, Damian Sandow, David Otunga, Dolph Ziggler, and Wade Barrett with Ricardo Rodriguez. So obviously he's in the corner with Del Rio.
Yeah.
Versus Team Foley, which I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't get this. I have no recollection of this.
Which is Daniel Bryan, Kane, Kofi Kingston, The Miz, and Randy Orton with Foley in the corner for the 5-on-5 series elimination match. And then to finish it all off at the final match, the main match is CM Punk, who's the champion, versus Cena and Ryback in a triple threat match for the WWE Championship.
All right. So just touching on some of my kind of immediate thoughts and memories from the card, as you just read it out there. Names like Justin Gabriel, Brodus Clay. Looking forward to seeing them again. Looking forward to seeing Tyson Kidd in the ring. I love Tyson Kidd. I thought it was fantastic. The primetime players and stuff. You know, this is an interesting 5-on-5 Survivor Series because, well, there's two of them for a start. There's a mid-card one. There's an upper-card one. So this is quite interesting. And then also, on top of that, as you mentioned, we touched on the Divas already. Cesaro's got his first name. That's quite cool. And Big Show versus Sheamus. It kind of reminds me of this era of the World Heavyweight title, good or bad. And then we've got the Team Ziggler versus Team Foley. And again, I don't really remember Foley being involved with this, but I imagine it was him and Ziggler going back and forth on Raw. Foley used to come back to sell pay-per-views every now and then. So for some reason, he's built up a team here. And then again, CM Punk wearing that big part of the title reign here. And a big thing for me is Ryback. I remember in this period thinking Ryback, I know people kind of try to make jokes about him now and stuff like that, but he was over as Rover, as they say. And yeah, I really do think they should have pulled the trigger with him, to be completely honest. Now, some people say in hindsight, it's probably better they didn't because, you know, what's happened to him and he's not exactly, you know, king of the indies or anything like that, or kind of blowing things up in AEW or Japan. But at the same time, you could argue that's because of the position he ended up with. And I do think he could have been a big star in WWE. And to be fair, I think people try and downplay what he did do. He was quite good at the time. But anyway, that's enough love for Ryback. I'm sure we'll kind of get into him a little bit more throughout the stream. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one just because it isn't something I'd usually do. Again, we mentioned it off air that there are probably people that are really nostalgic from this period than compared to...
Which I find weird.
Yeah, me too. But that's because they're younger than us, mate.
Yeah.
So,
I mean...
God, I'm sure we'll enjoy it, though. I'm sure we'll go, I do miss, like, even seeing some of these names. I'm like, I could see that in back. You know, not back, but back in on my screen, at least.
On the screen, yeah.
But Damien Sandow as well. I was a big fan of Sandow. So, that's a good
it's just weird that I said, as we're looking at the like, just the Team Ziggler. One, I can't remember. I'm assuming Team Ziggler's the Hillside. And Team Foley's the face.
Yeah,
side,
because
right?
I kept wondering, is this the one where Ziggler's the last man and it's
no, but that's like
but
2015.
Ziggler's a face,
yeah,
like 14 maybe. 14? But yeah, either way, it's when Sting comes in, ain't it? So
yeah, and I'm just looking, and I was like, since when did Foley have? And it's just weird to say now, Kane, The Miz, and Randy Orton on Mick Foley's team. Like you wouldn't. All three of those.
Oh, so Miz's face as well, because Miz is on the original poster. He's not on the DVD cover because, you know, as they usually do, they put these things out and then they're not actually a big part of the storyline or whatever else. And from the poster, I just assumed it was Miz and his heel run.
Which, because I thought at this time it was Miz and Sandow when they were doing the A-lister copycat thing.
Oh, so we haven't even got to that yet.
Clearly not, because Sandow
was it after that? No, it's not after that, is it?
It's got to be after that.
Really?
Yeah, I think so, because I'm looking at Sandow was on the opposite team with Ziggler. So
Sandow wouldn't have gone heel and Miz go face.
No, because Sandow joined. Miz went face. No, Miz goes heel, doesn't he? And Sandow gets the
Miz
face.
On the babyface team, you're saying?
Miz is on the babyface team, according to what's been sent anyway.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. So I'm really, I'm thinking, is this happened yet? Has
it must be
Sandow won the briefcase yet?
Oh my god, it's so weird blurring all this together, man. All right, let's get the timer ready. Let's get our streams ready. Again, if you're watching on demand, if you're watching live, we'll try and bring up the timer every now and then to kind of help us. Again, the same thing that was the promising time before Rob has gone wrong again. So what I'm going to have to do is rely on old trusty online stopwatch, online-stopwatch.com to help us out here. So let's start getting this ready. All right, this isn't Are
you ready?
Nearly.
So
right,
Russell.
What are you eating?
They're called Bala Bites.
Bala Bites, thin Bala Bites.
They're like strawberry laces, but they're cut up in like little balls. Oh my goodness!
Okay,
great.
Okay, all right. Bring me some back, mate. Right, okay. Let's get started with the stream then. I've got mine locked, ready, and loaded. I'm just gonna share the clock. Hold on. Let's get this ready. Present a clock for the viewers, please. Oh, good time for my mouse to start conking out. Right. There we go. Right, there's our clock. So we're not going to press play just yet. Don't you worry. All right. So I'm going to have to try and quickly do this again. I'll give us a 5-second countdown. Or should give us a 10-second countdown so we're really ready. Let's give us a 10. So we're all ready. And then we'll take the clock off. We'll bring it back up every now and then just to help anyone that is joining us live late or join us on demand and maybe they have lost sync. Right. So on 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right. Okay. Right. I do not remember this intro. What is this? Do you remember this, Rob?
Not this intro, no. Oh, The
Well,
Rock.
I thought it was a signature. We didn't start with a signature, so I'm shocked by that. But it's bigging up Survivor Series. Not something they often
Cena and
do.
The Rock.
Oh yeah, of course, because this is in between the 2 Cena Rock matches.
Mm-hmm.
Something else I noticed as well, that 5-on-5 was when I was searching up this show just to kind of look for some what the card would be and things like that.
Yeah.
A headline I saw on an article was how, and it was written at the time, was how the 5-on-5 stole the show and how it was the best thing about it. So I'm looking forward to seeing that because I don't quite remember it. These things, again, these years blurring all together for me. A lot of it feels very interchangeable. Who's face, who's heel. Which looks like here the Big Show is the heel. Sorry. Then again, he could have turned just in that time that I said that. So who knows? Shamey is the face. All right. It's going to be a long one, Rob. So get the beers and the snacks ready. All right. So day 1 was Survivor Series, it says. When is that when did he beat The Rock? He lost it to The Rock.
He lost it to The Rock.
At Survivor Series, was it? No, him and
people got involved.
The year before it was Miz and R-Truth versus was it Rock and Punk? No, Rock and Cena? I can't remember. Yeah, anyway. So at this point, we're in a big reign, of course. We've seen in modern days, we've seen another big reign recently. Of course, with Roman Reigns at the time of recording, he is still the undisputed champion. But yeah, cool to go back and see another long reign. One that I know a lot of people thought, they were trying to get rid of anyway with Roman's reign. CM Punk, of course, been in the news the past few months. I'm sure wrestling fans are aware. It's been a strange time for Punk. A lot of rumors about what his future holds. If you're watching this in a few months' time, few years' time, you'll know. But at this very moment in time, it's an interesting time to go back and watch a CM Punk WWE match.
It is. It really is.
What's this song?
Oh, this music.
It sounds like a rip-off of that Rihanna song, Love in a Hopeless Place or whatever it is.
Ooh,
which I'm wondering if it was and they covered it. They right. Cool. It's so strange watching stuff from this era. Because
it's weird to think that we had logo. Pyro.
Pyro, yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, like as much as I'm like downplaying some of this period I did enjoy a lot of things about it. I did enjoy Punk's run. I enjoyed Zack Ryder stuff until they ruined that.
Oh yeah.
A lot of stuff I enjoyed until they ruined, basically.
It says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No, they ruined a lot.
They did. But this music doesn't fit. You go from Survivor Series 2002 Saliva, which even that song was a bit too kind of like, it's heavy at places, but it's kind of it's not as much.
Oh.
So what one's this? The
Oh, it's a tag team elimination match.
Wait, a what now?
So if one of your team goes, I think you both go, right?
Oh. Oh, I didn't mean an owl like that, by the way. I weren't copying the song. I was legit going, oh. And then I realized when you did the impression. Oh, here we go. Brodus playing a fucking Dactyls. Got to say, again, these were super over back then. Tune, of course. Even though it's reused, of course, from Ernest the Cat Miller. Miller. Still. Classic. Why would you not want to reuse it? Come on, Rob.
I'm not thrillering.
How about we do this instead? The Funkadactyls entrance to the ring. Yeah, should we do that?
I'll leave that to you and Tom.
We could do it up the screen. Hold on. Let me put my butt in the screen. You put your butt the other side. Do the clap at least. Can we do that?
We can clap.
Come on, Rob. Hey. Oh, we're in time, sort of.
We were almost.
Weird though, isn't it? When you think about it, Cameron came back that time, didn't she? And she was never reused. I think she was she in AEW for a bit as well? Or am I imagining that? Did she have a one-off appearance there?
A lot of people done a one-off appearance at AEW though. That's the thing.
Justin Gabriel, here we go. Someone that should have been a lot more, in my opinion. Again, wasted potential for me.
It was great.
Him and Tyson
TK
team, of course. Now I get it, and now I get what's going on. Sort of.
Is Tyson Kidd? What's he now? Is he PJ Black?
He was. I don't know what he's doing at the moment.
Airwolf, isn't it?
Yeah. So here we go. Again, anyone watching live or on demand will bring up this stopwatch every now and then. I'll be honest, there's a much cleaner one I wanted to use, but it's not working. So instead, we've had to go for this. And but either way, I appreciate it. Online-stopwatch.com. Sin Cara. Now, which Sin Cara is it? Who's playing Sin Cara at this point?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it isn't the original. Actually, no, it is the original. No tattoo, right?
Let's see if they botched the entrance. Oh, didn't even do the...
Oh, no trampoline.
I haven't got that yet.
No, he had it. Then they took it away because he kept botching the jump.
Is that half of Ray's mask? Oh, it's him and Ray as a team. I don't even really remember that being a thing.
Dude, are you okay?
Well, I didn't pay attention to the card, but I still don't remember this being a thing. Do you?
No.
Man, they were really trying to make it work.
Rey Mysterio.
I like how Sin Cara's gone for the half and half mask, and Ray's gone, nah, I'm winning my own, mate.
I do feel bad for Sin Cara, you know. Like,
mate, he looks so good. I remember showing a friend of mine who was a casual fan around this time before it was getting, he come into it, showing him the clips of Mystico in Mexico and being like, this guy's just signed WWE, mate. It's going to be wicked. And it just never happened.
Do you know what I think the issue was? When Del Rio came over, right? And we got Del Rio, he practiced and trained in the ring. And from what I read, if I remember reading, the Sin Cara, the guy that played Sin Cara, didn't, or Mystico at that point, didn't. He comes straight into WWE. So obviously Lucha ropes are different for a start. The way it's played out in like WWE and stuff is so different. And I just don't think you could hack it. So then when he had gone, and then like Sin Cara was then rebranded to someone else, it was all right. But then I think he had anger issues or something, didn't he?
Who the other one? The other one, Hunico, wasn't it?
Hunico, yeah.
I thought Hunico was great as well. Everything Hunico did, I really enjoyed.
Prince Albert.
Yeah, Prince Albert here. A-Train, Albert, Tensai.
I'll tell you what, I like the Tensai gimmick. It's just, I don't know.
I like that he was back and he had done so much in Japan and they were using that, but my goodness, they ruined it straight away. So what's going on here then? If Primo and Epico, so who's Tensai with?
They look a bit like the Los Matadores, you know?
Just a bit. I loved them as well. I thought shame they got let go. Millions of dollars. We could do this. I love the primetime players as well.
The PTP were great.
Yeah, real shame that they were standouts in that generation. Did they ever win the tag titles?
I can't remember. Maybe.
This is a strange period. Like I'm watching this, and all I can see is for so many of these people is missed opportunities and wasted potential. You know, that's not a knock on them. But
do you remember looking at this? There's a picture that goes around every now and then, and it was, I think it was John Cena as a champ, or it was CM Punk as a champ, and then you had one group of tag team champs, and I think you had Kofi the US.
It's Cena. Sorry, it's Punk with the WWE, Bryan with the World Heavyweight,
That's
Kofi
right.
and everyone with the tag, Beth Phoenix with the Divas, and Cody with the IC.
And you
Someone
look
must have the US. Oh, US is Zack Ryder, I think.
And you just look and you think, how great was those bunch
Yeah,
of
that
that
I
group?
thought that was the change, and I thought that was it. It was about to happen now because there were all the guys that I wanted to be in prominent positions, and it just
didn't.
Yeah,
it's nice to see Tyson Kidd wrestling, though.
It is, really is. Of course, nowadays he's the agent for most of the matches that we love, basically.
I think doesn't he try and do a lot of the women's matches as well to really give them a spotlight?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Now, interestingly, I would say, other than the two people that you could argue had made it and made their name already and had the height of their career already, so Rey Mysterio and
Brodus Clay.
No, and Tensai, because of I guess his most successful period in WWE is probably as A-Train.
Yeah.
The most successful person from the next generation,
lovely,
right here is Naomi.
Yeah. Oh, that's mad. That's mad to think.
It is, isn't it? I mean, Brodus had a massive spell around this time, but Naomi is still way more successful than Brodus was, and she's outside the ring.
He's now Tyrus, isn't he? And hasn't he just wrestled for the NWA Championship?
He was doing some stuff with NWA. I don't know if that's still going on. I mean, I've fallen out of NWA, to be honest. I was really excited when they first redid everything with Power, but in the recent year, I've just kind of been like, lost me.
Power was good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was good. But you see, even all this has kind of left them now. So
yeah.
Anyway,
that's a work though.
Do you think?
Maybe.
We'll see then. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's about to get really good. But Gabriel with some good moves here already in the early going. Again, just seeing how the potential. Gabriel spent a lot of time on the hair straightener before the match. You can tell that's a lovely flop he's got going on there. Right, so as you said then, your team...
My team?
Your team member gets them eliminated. No, I still don't get it.
I think it's... If me and you were tagging, and I took the pinfall, we're both out.
Right, but who's Tensai's tag partner then? So it's two tag teams in one. So that means... That is so strange.
Dude, I don't know.
So who's the solo guy on... Oh, Brodus Clay.
Brodus Clay. Which is strange because Titus and Brodus team up at some point and become the Tons of Funk.
I'd be lying if I said I remembered that. You know what it is, actually? This just seems a quicker way to get on with this 5-on-5 because they've already got another one.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, we just get two of them out at once. Funkadactyl's having fun on the outside, enjoying what they're seeing. Rey and Sin Cara, a little bit of a... offense together.
Can I mention favorite that I'm starting to enjoy at the moment? Do you watch NXT 2.0?
What do you think?
Don't lie. Have you seen him? Axiom.
Oh wait, isn't? Yeah, I think I've briefly seen. Not much.
Looks great, man.
Was he in NXT
UK? No, he's just in NXT now.
Yeah, but he was though. Right, he changed his name.
A-Kid.
When A-Kid, yeah, that's
it. Was A-Kid, in NXT UK.
Yeah, he was NXT UK.
Now he's Axiom.
Yeah.
The marketing they've done for him so far is great. I'm really enjoying it. Like superhero, another mask guy.
Oh, maybe I'll have to check out NXT 2.0 a little bit more. Well, then again, it's dropped the 2.0, right? Or it's gonna.
It's gonna, yeah. This is in that weird period as well, as we said for Sin Cara, because soon he faces himself.
That happens after this, you think?
Yeah, it's definitely.
So that's what I mean. This period blurs in so much for me. When we were doing the Survivor Series 2002, the closest I get to being confused about the time was being like, this feels like a 2003 feud. Oh, that makes sense. This is at the end of 2002.
Yeah.
You know, this where and being like, oh, such and such character did this. It felt like 6 months earlier, but really it was 2 weeks earlier. You know, like, but this one, I'm just straight up like, I don't know what happened before this. I don't know what happens after it. For a lot of these guys.
Because you look at it and you think, oh, that was 2012. And then when you check, it was 2014. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. See, 14, 15 feels like a different era to me, though. A lot of it. Because of the people that do debut here and what they're doing. The Wyatts, Daniel Bryan. It feels very different. That was a hard hit down for Sin Cara. What a landing. But yeah, it feels like a more defined era for me. Could see Rosa Mendes as well. Not doing much in wrestling these days, of course. But
did she do something for Lucha Underground?
I'm not sure.
Maybe. Let's have a look. Ski.
Okay, Sin Cara thrown back into the corner. Tensai tagged in now, so we've got Tensai and Sin Cara. Sin Cara needs
I can't look at Tensai the same way with Brodus Clay anymore.
Oh yeah, they were together for.
You can't go from being Lord Tensai to Sweet Tea. Yeah, I told you that's what they're called. Tons of Funk.
Tons of Funk. That was it. Yeah. I thought you were saying Titus O'Neil was with.
No.
That's what I thought you said. Mate, no. I swear that's what you said. That's what I was like. I have no memory of that. I do remember them two being together. All right, Brodus Clay on a roll here. Okay, everybody's getting excited in the ring. Choreographed spots there. I'd love to hear Rey Mysterio's opinion on this time period with Sin Cara. Oh, that was lovely there. Both of them holding up the rope.
Nice.
So that we had
Gabriel got a moonsault, right?
Flying through, yeah. Double moonsault.
Hey.
Timing was off between the team, but then again, it is a Sin Cara match.
Leave him alone. You got to do him like that.
All right. See, my memory of the Tensai thing was like, oh, that was awful. That was absolutely horrific. Right. Brodus tries to do what is it? Like not a full away slam because he's got Anyway, it doesn't work. It doesn't throw him over him. They just kind of fall. That was awful.
Oh, that's sent on.
3. Brodus is gone. That's weird because he's to me the biggest star in this match. Other than Ray, of course, but you know what I'm saying. Like he's hot at the time, sort of thing. I seem to recall.
Did you read a story about I think it was Chris Van Ville's pod
about John Cena?
Yeah. How nice is that? You know, it's
really
nice. It's so nice to hear that sort of stuff.
Definitely.
And if you do want to listen to more, not that we normally shout out podcasts, but recently Brodus or Tyrus was on Talk Is Jericho and he gave a great interview with Jericho. Yeah.
Okay.
So I
haven't listened to Talk Is Jericho in ages, to be fair. So I might have to give that one a go myself. Here's the stream, guys, for anyone that's lost sync or joined us late. That's where we are in the show at the moment. You're right, JBL. Titus O'Neil did have tons of potential, and now he's an ambassador, which I'm sure he's happy with in some sense and doing a great job. But another example here. It's quite a sad start to the stream, Rob.
Is it?
Yeah, just for the potential in the ring. I mean, Tyson Kidd gets injured. Not that they really ever use him that much, but he has some great spells. This team's good. Him and Cesaro are fantastic together. him and Harry Smith, of course, as well.
I mean, let's figure out how many people are still currently wrestling right now, like in WWE. Rey Mysterio.
You probably wouldn't expect Ray to be top of that list, but yeah, Ray.
Is that it?
In WWE? Oh, there we go.
In WWE right
gone.
now.
Yeah,
Great
just Ray. Because
just Ray.
Like I say, Titus is in the company, but I think the last thing he did, well, of note at least, was the slip at Great Royal Rumble.
Which I love Corey Graves' laugh at, by the way. That's one of my favourite moments of her.
So they've gone for solo stars gone first anyway. So then from this point, it'll speed up by being like, oh, your teammate's gone, you're going too.
See, I think that's what it is, because it says tag team elimination.
No, it's not that. It's just because it's a tag match. It's still a tag match, no matter how many people are tagging in and out, isn't it?
I guess. I have no idea.
Because it's a 6-man tag, That's a tag match still.
Oh. I like Primo and Epico. They were great.
Yeah, I really liked them. There we go. Talking about the classic debuts of Survivor Series. We mentioned it in the description as well. Of course, alluding to people like The Rock and The Undertaker, but King's reminding us of the Gobbledygooker as well.
Which was that Hector Guerrero?
Yeah, Hector Guerrero, yeah. That's some knowledge for you. There we go. Kid flying off the top rope there. I think there's about 50 last graduates in there from the hard dungeon. They chop and change who they want to put it on all the time, it seems. JBL saying that Carlos Colon owes him money. Who are the tag champs at this point? Is there a tag team title match?
Hang on, let's have a look. Ski. There isn't one, but we definitely had tag champs. I don't know who it was.
Champs then? None of these come out with belts, did they?
No.
Who the hell's the tag champs? Why are they not on the show? What's going on?
It's not Miz and Orton didn't tag win championships together, did they?
I don't know. We might find out later on then.
Yeah, I want to look, but I don't want to spoil it because I only remember the bit that we're supposed to remember.
And even that, you're not sure if you remember it correctly.
No.
Oof. So Titus ends up wrapped up in the ropes in a place you don't want to be wrapped up in the ropes. Tyson, lovely kick. Oh, lovely pin.
Oh,
look at that. Oh, wow. He's got it. That was great. Right. Oh, no. So Darren Young's straight in the ring. They're not getting rid of him. So there we go. It is your usual rules. And you were trying to have a go at me earlier wrong, Rob. Like, I didn't understand. You don't know what you're talking about. Right.
I ain't got a clue.
But anyway, going back to the pin, though. So Titus is on the ropes, gets kicked by Kid. Kid flies in, spins around, legs over the back of him, rolls through for a pin. And, gets it. What a great elimination. Well, that's one of the better eliminations, surely, in Survivor Series history. And I've forgotten all about it. So, interesting one there. Rey Mysterio, the vet, of course, trying to get the fans behind his team with the clap. Going for the sharpshooter here, Tyson Kidd. All right. Epico's gone. So Michael Cole says, how appropriate that Tyson Kidd's done the sharpshooter as Survivor Series. If anything, you could argue that it's inappropriate.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could argue that, this is them reclaiming that event as the hearts and a positive mood. But no, it was, yeah. Of course, that, I think only yesterday or the day before, it was the anniversary of that as well. So 25 years since the Montreal screw job, which I think in itself, of course, could be its own podcast, to be fair. So we won't go too much into it. But again, anyone that's watching on demand or live, here is the clock where we are on the stream at the moment. We are in the 5-on-5 opener, not the big one. This is, I guess, the lower card one. And that's not me discrediting the guys in the match. I've enjoyed it so far. And as I said throughout, I think a lot of these people had the potential to go and do bigger and better. But anyway, this is where we are on the stream at the moment. Ray's in the match now as well. And again, we'll keep bringing up this clock to help anyone stay in sync with us throughout the stream as well. Of course, we want to hear your thoughts on Survivor Series. What are you thinking of the show yourself, if you're watching it now, or if you're just basing this off of memory? What do you remember from Survivor Series 2012? Are you as kind of old as me and Rob, where our memories kind of playing tricks on us, or is this the part of WWE history that you most associate with? Also, we've got other streams on this channel, of course, with modern wrestling, but also plenty of other watch-alongs in the history of WWE as well. So stick around if you like this sort of stuff. Right, so I've got Primo on the top rope with Ray now, trying to suplex him, but Ray headbutts him down. He's going to head some sort of top rope maneuver.
What is that on the front of Ray's baggy trousers?
I don't know. I'm saying that, actually, I said earlier that he had his own mask. He hasn't. He's got a little bit of a high bit because of Sin Cara. So he hasn't got his own mask on. Oh, it's fair play, Ray. I was saying earlier that you were wearing your own mask, but you're not. It is a mixture. Sort of. Just not as much.
Was this round about the time for the great pin? Is this the breast cancer awareness time because they're in pink?
Nah, because I think they'd all be in pink, weren't they? Most of them, you know.
I don't know. Normally, that's what they do.
Yeah, I think they've just gone for pink, to be fair. Otherwise, you'd see it on the promo stuff as well, and on the ring. The ropes sometimes were pink, weren't they? So 619 there to Darren Young. Could Ray get 2 eliminations straight away, or his team at least? Because Sin Cara is now tagged in. Swanton there. Justin Gabriel about to
450.
No, because he's going to the...
Maybe not.
Oh, just a lion salt from the top rope.
Oh!
Lovely elbow from the top rope there as well. Points up again to Ray. It's not for the win, is it? Why are they so excited? I think it is for the win. 1, 2, 3. Okay. It was for the win. I wonder why they were all doing the finishes on Darren Young just to eliminate the guy. All right, so what did you think of that match, Rob?
That was good, man. I enjoyed that.
It was a good opener. I thought it was a bit long at first for a bit. I was thinking, is this a good opener? But no, nice way to end it.
Yeah.
WWE at its finest, JBL says. Yet they won't push most of the guys in the match. But hey, it feels like I feel really bitter. Maybe it is rose-tinted glasses. You know, when you watch 2002, I'm like, yeah, a lot of these people, you know, other than Scott Steiner, I was like that, you know, maybe should have given him the title at the time. But yeah, I don't remember feeling that way about a lot of those guys. Maybe because as a kid, I felt like these positions were cemented. If someone was mid-card, they were mid-card, and I took it as that. And it was such a strong roster that you kind of just accepted that. At the time, Eddie Guerrero would be European champ, for example. You know, well, that's 2 years after, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
wait, he said Rey Mysterio with a coup de grace.
What?
He said Rey Mysterio with a coup de grace.
Yeah, but I think that's not necessarily the move. They're just saying because the coup de grace is just the ending, isn't it? So, I think they're just using it as a phrase, not naming that move. That.
I mean, I was going to say it's definitely not that.
Nah. Okay, Caitlyn walking backstage. Oh no, being attacked by someone in a WWE 13 hoodie before the 2K sponsorship. Who is this? Summer Rae? I thought Michelle McCool, but now I'm not quite sure. Again, I don't know what anyone's doing in this period. And why? Oh, it's a blonde. It's a wig. It's a wig. It is. I don't know who that is. Oh, Oksana.
Oh man,
what was that all about? Oh, Eve Torres pretending she knew nothing about it. So Eve's a heel. That was really cheesy.
Oh.
Nice using her words against her, but still a cheesy segment.
Did she
what
throw a wig
weird way to make... Nah, what a weird way to go. Eve's a bad guy. And now we got that match now. What?
Oh, okay.
Nah, that was a weird booking in this period.
That's such a nice championship.
What?
I like it.
You weirdo.
It was all right.
I don't know, man. For a gimmick. If it, like when The Rock has his own title, that sort of stuff. Yeah, maybe.
Was this her music?
Guess so. I don't remember anything to do with her music. I just remember she was great. Eve Torres is great. Okay, so she's walked out with... She never really wore this gear, though, did she?
No. No, I don't think so. I have no idea.
This is so weird. So did it straight away. Maybe they changed it on the night and it should have been later on in the night, but they should have really been like, oh, remember earlier when that's why she's holding the wig. This is really weird. Right, so we are about to watch Caitlyn versus Eve Torres. I actually thought the match was going to get cancelled and someone else was going to be in it, but no. So Eve Torres is heel, of course, growing off of heel turn, I'm guessing from Zack Ryder.
Was that year?
It must have been earlier this year.
No, because she kicked him in the nuts, doesn't she?
Yeah, there's either 11 or 12. It's not 13. Yeah, Bragging Rights
2012, maybe?
I don't know if it's this year, but either way, she's heel after that, surely. This is where we are on the stream at the moment. So if you're watching on demand and you want to, sync up with us, if you've lost sync, or if you are watching live but you join us later, we're at the moment, as you can see, we're on 32 minutes and 23 seconds. So whether you fire up your network, your Peacock, or just your plain old Blu-ray, this is where we are. And we'll keep bringing this up throughout the stream as well, just in case you want to sync up with us. But again, we are doing the Survivor Series 2012 watch along. My name's Scott, joined here by Rob. We are the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel, and we don't just do watch alongs on this channel. We do many other podcasts about modern wrestling, but also interviews with WWE stars as well. So check those out on this channel if you get a chance. And of course, we'd love it if you subscribed as well. And then I've actually started quite early on the wigs in between the two of them. This is an interesting period in women's wrestling, Rob. We gotta say it's going to be interesting to see how this kind of plays out. Again, two of these people here, like when we covered 2002, Victoria and Trish were two of the standouts. I would argue that two of the standouts from this generation are in the ring at the moment as well.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see, in hindsight, what kind of match we get here. I imagine this is in the time that Finlay is still booking and working with the women as well.
Possibly. I'll be honest, I don't remember these two wrestling that much.
What, against each other or ever?
Just in general.
I don't remember
the women weren't booked
that well. She weren't around too long. But Eve was there much longer. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, how long is this match? Do you reckon?
4 minutes.
4 minutes, right? It's been on for, I don't know, about a minute already, I think. Can't remember what we said here. Let's say it's been a minute already. Well, at least from the entrances. So, yeah, all right. You're going 4. I'm going 6. But I think you're probably right. I just don't want to go 5.
I can't even remember what either their finishes are.
I feel like Eve had some sort of
a kick, maybe.
No, I was thinking of some sort of like DDT type thing, but I could be thinking of Maurice. Another standout from this period, but it just goes to show, like you said, though, just goes to show just how little they were pushed and used and prominent. Because could you imagine 10 years from now, someone saying, I don't really remember Charlotte's finisher.
Yeah.
Or I don't really remember, you know, even if you go further down the roster with the women, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really hyping up Eve working with a Gracie gym as well. As far as I remember, she was married to one of them. Let's see if that's correct. Was that correct? Eve Torres. Who was it? Yeah, that's her last name still. So there you go. So that was a good thing, but they never really used. I mean, they mentioned it a lot, but you think they could have moved it into a character, but maybe that would have been unnatural, you know, to kind of become suddenly an MMA star, be the Shayna Baszler of her generation.
Yeah, that would be weird. Is Michael Cole the heel?
I love that it's taking 36 minutes to ask a question like that.
Bro, literally, because he was like, well, she's got 5 seconds. Like, is this the point where
he hasn't
Cole
been
was
very
heel?
No, it'd be after it. I'm sure that's 2011.
Because that was the anonymous Raw general manager stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and then
I'm
he
sure
done the
that's all
your
before
attention.
this. That's all before this, yeah.
I don't know, man. Like I said, it's kind of just
one
big bubble or stuff.
27, which happens in 2011.
Right, okay.
So this is the end of the heel run, if anything.
Right.
Right.
I just feel like so much has happened. I don't remember half of it.
We might have to just go back and start watching Raws and SmackDown from the period as well. So we got Eve Torres got scissors action of her legs around Caitlin's throat at the moment. Caitlin's got an arm in between as well. Trying to get to the rope. Eve trying to stop her, of course. Some bickering between Lawler, Cole, and JBL there, but oh, okay. He pushed outside by Caitlin there. Shoved again. Lands on the outside. Okay, now Caitlin throws her back into the ring, which feels like a completely wasted spot. Eve now scared of Caitlin. Yeah, surely she's going to do something cheeky.
Pull her into the ropes. Maybe.
Okay, I don't know. She's getting in the middle of the ring. She's going to beg. Okay. This is going on longer than I thought it would. Caitlin slaps her. Okay.
Oh,
the old classic woman throw. I don't know if there's a name for that move, but the women used to love doing that.
flapjack. I love a good flapjack.
You're making me hungry, mate. Right.
What's she doing?
Eve's on Caitlin's shoulders. Oh, down to her knee. What was you going to say? 1, 2. Kick out.
I thought she was going to do the F5.
That's a cool little image, though. Like, Eve's really selling being pulled away there, holding on to the ring apron. Runs outside the ring. Oh, slips there. Nice little spot there. Pulls the ring apron to make her fall.
We'll be able to do that spot now. There's the LED bit there.
All right. Oh, okay. Neck breaker thing. I think that's a finisher, it. One.
I hope not.
Not much of a match, was it? All right. How long did we go? 39 minutes on the stream. 37. Let's say. So we went about 5 or 6 minutes. I think I won that, Rob.
I mean, no one really won from watching that.
See, I was gonna say, look, we all talk about not having opportunity, but then you think it started to get a bit boring. I started to think nothing was happening. We had that little spot there where they had the apron, and then I thought, oh, cool, it's getting interesting. I was literally about to say, not much is going on in this match. To be fair, it's not very memorable. That happened, and I was like, don't say it's got, because like this looks like it's about to get good, and then it ends. So again, you could argue two sides of that. They're given, I wouldn't say the time. It's only 6 minutes, it seems, but it's a whole lot of nothing, weren't it? And you could argue that because they don't get time over a broad period, there isn't time to progress. You could argue there's a decent enough time in that match to do certain things as a match on its own, but not in the sense that on Raw they've probably been getting 2 minutes for about 6 months. So how are they really going to progress enough to be able to pull off even a little bit more time there? So hard to judge, really. Interesting to look back on a women's match there, but I think even if you gave 6 minutes to any of the women today, we'd get a far better match.
Kane and Daniel Bryan are the tag team champions. That's in that period.
Team Hell No, are they?
Mm.
Okay. The backstage clip here with Del Rio talking about the team, even though he's not. Well, he's Ziggler's captain. Is he not? Barrett. Okay, so they're arguing backstage as heels. I think who's in charge of the team, pretty much. You could argue a lot of them, to be fair. So I appreciate that. And they did the same sort of thing in a face dressing room. Mick Foley's seemed a bit disappointed by it. Randy's just off in the background on his own. Right, so Foley now kind of trying to rally his team. What's the bond? What's the cause, Foley?
All survivors.
All survivors. I was wondering what kind of temporary stakes they were going to try and sell us here that we definitely don't remember, but it weren't much of one. Ooh. Mention a Cody there. A bang bang on 3, Rob. We joining them?
We may as well.
I think it might just be me and you. And Foley. I know we're all going in.
Oh, Kofi's in.
Alton, come on, get in. Bud. Randy, come on. Don't leave us hanging. Bang bang.
Bang bang.
Nice. Randy just says, the Mick, I hate you. Nice. I mean, I guess they do have history.
Yeah.
They did a few good comedy spots back then. I will give them that.
Has Kofi lost his Jamaican accent by that point?
Oh, yes. Long gone, I think. Going back to the women, though, Rob, like I said, they get a lot of time there, but not a lot of time. Sorry, that's ignorant to say. But what I meant to say is the women of today, if they would have been given those 6 minutes, they would have done more in it at Survivor Series. But again, you could argue it's because they haven't had that experience to even get the best out of 6 minutes,
Yeah.
Here we got Antonio Cesaro with probably, I think, my favorite theme song for Cesaro. Other than the dun, 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 dun. That was a good tune as well. Okay, talking about Thanksgiving here, putting it down. As a European, You don't understand it? Oh. Taking a few shots at America. So, love Cesaro. We've actually interviewed him on the Rebellious Noise channel, the main channel. Of course, this is a split away channel from that channel. So, channel a lot there. Yeah, check out our interview on there with Cesaro. What I find funny about Cesaro is here he's called Antonio Cesaro. Did you know, Rob, that a lot of his wrestling companions, his buddies in the Federation, call him Tony behind the scenes? Yeah. How strange is that? Maybe not so much these days, of course, because he's not using that name at all. He's in a different company. But at the time, a lot of them still knew him as that. And called him Tony. I always thought it was quite funny.
Yeah, I was listening to. Oh, again, I think it's the Talk Is Jericho, and they were talking about the bar. This is when they were at a bar, and they're talking about how they got to where they are and the unit that their tie being the same. Yeah, and Sheamus used to call him Tony, and at first I was thinking, who are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah, he calls him Tony. Yeah, when we interviewed him, I think it was what made me realize it was. We interviewed Rusev the same day, and I think he called him Tony behind the scenes, and we were like, "Oh wow!" I referred to him or something like that, and I was like, "Huh?" But anyway, here we've got Hard Truth versus Antonio Cesaro, or Tony to his friends.
Hard Truth is Little Jimmy.
Little Jimmy, exactly that. He's come out with a Little Jimmy t-shirt on. But again, I think it's towards the end of it because Little Jimmy stuff happens big, of course, when he goes into skyrockets into the main event, which again, another myth.
Should have won a champion.
Should have won a title, I think, when he faces John Cena. Capital Punishment, I think it was called. And then he ends up teaming with The Miz, which is, again, a great team. I really enjoyed that. Great heel at the time.
It's nice to actually see R-Truth wrestle as opposed to run around with a 24/7 championship.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's gone now, isn't it? So,
thank God. Ooh. Oh, I forgot he had the 5-language gimmick before this.
Yeah. A very slow start to this match, I got to say. Already in the rest hold, what, a minute into the match it feels? Oh, USA chant, because that's what we're going with to get heat.
I always thought
Go on.
Cesaro should have been a European champion.
Yeah, well, there's all that stuff about when Rusev was apparently bringing back the title. Lana shared it on Instagram, I think it might have been, or Twitter.
I mean, it's not like they didn't have enough bodies there to do the European title.
Yeah. Or was it that Rusev shared the title and Lana shared that they were married? That was, Lana shared that they were married or engaged or something like that. And it stopped that push. But yeah, they should have brought it back. NXT Europe, of course, at time of recording, hasn't launched. You never know. The NXT European Championship, I guess, is going to be a thing. if that took on the lineage of the WWE, that'd be quite interesting. But we'll see. Or just call it WWE European title. I think that is literally what they should do. I think I've said it for a while now, but again, this could be a pod in itself. But for me, the NXT title should be the North American title, and the NXT title should be a kind of NWA type thing where they roam through the territories that WWE have. Yeah, I think NXT should have, when it gets 7 different territories, because that is the plan they want. I think the NXT title should be a moving around thing, and the North American title should be the NXT title, NXT USA main title. European title should be the main title in Europe, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's how I'd like to see it go. But we'll see.
I mean, even that could become a pod in itself of how you'd plan.
The future of NXT. Yeah. Let's keep that in mind, Rob. Let's keep that in mind.
Do you know what I missed? The light heavyweight championship.
Yeah, I mean, in what sense? Because there needs to be a weight bracket, or just like, do you mean over the cruiser, or what are you saying?
Well, it's just because we haven't got a cruiser, and we've got a lot of guys that are good cruisers, good cruiser size.
Yeah,
and they're doing nothing with it.
They killed that.
Yeah, but it's because they made it its own entity and put it on its own show. Should have just stuck it on. It's crazy to think that the person that really made it credible was Enzo Amore. What does that say about all these fantastic guys that we had? And Enzo Amore was the one that got it to main event.
Well, even the way it started, though, like it started with purpose, and 205, like you say, they put a lot behind it. And the easy thing to look at that and go, oh, look, we put so much into it, it didn't work. It's like, yeah, but you put it in a position it shouldn't have been in. It shouldn't have been its own thing.
Yeah.
It's like, like if there's a women's show, that defeats the purpose for me. You know? Like, Evolution was great, but if they had their own Raw, SmackDown, and then the WWE Women's Show, it'd be like, no, the whole point is we need it to be equal, not different. Like not its own thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, I mean, I'd take back. I'd have the European again. I think it's too late now. Maybe it'd be good now because there's so many different people. But when you had the likes of Rusev, Cesaro, that were that good that they could carry that and put some lineage on it. I mean,
and that's just going on like the fact that they are European. Of course, European title doesn't need to be a European holder, but I get what you're saying. They could have brought it back in that sense, and the Europeans could have made a big deal of always trying to go for it. That is enough feud in itself to run a few months or even years just with the European guys going, it means a lot to me because I'm from Europe, So there's so much they could have done.
Exactly.
I completely agree. And yeah, like you say, even at this very moment in time, it should be a thing. But hey, we're looking at the US title here, which is the title I think has been most likely to turn into the European, just from Europeans holding it and kind of converting it to something new name sort of thing. But yeah, anyway, lovely attack there from R-Truth, as you say. Oh, I love the little splits there. I always really like R-Truth. Mentioned him on the 2002 podcast as well, but big fan of K Quick getting rowdy.
Getting rowdy.
Big fan of I'm just getting lost now. I'm thinking about the whole song. Big fan of him in NWA TNA.
That was lovely.
That was nice, wasn't it?
Ooh.
Dr. Shelby reference there. That's it. Neutralizer over.
I mean, that match was all right, but that felt slow.
Yeah, it was a very slow match. It literally could have been on Raw.
Yeah. Nice finisher.
Yeah. Right, so this is where we are on the stream at the moment, 54-45. And we've just finished with the R-Truth versus Antonio Cesaro, a failed challenge on the US title. This show is coming to you from Indianapolis, and I think it's the first time I actually got Survivor Series as well. Do we still get these outside the venue shots? I don't feel like we do we? A lot of times they show the city and some kind of stock footage of the city, but all right. So The Rock is tweeting, saying he's going after the title no matter who goes through as champion.
Is that a photo of The Rock as Hobbs?
I didn't know. Oh my goodness, they're pushing Tout. Oh my goodness.
That was a thing that didn't last long, did it?
Yeah, for years that's been a little kind of reoccurring joke on Talking Beans. But hey, I'm willing to talk about it again because
I don't even remember
it. Is something that they tried to push. It was a social media that was starting up, and I think they bought it early on, and then they thought we'll push it. And my goodness, they tried to push it very hard. Didn't quite work, as you can tell. No one's touting these days, are they? Oh, wait, okay. So it's showing Raw from the previous Monday. A terrible attempt at pretending this is a legit voicemail. A whole thing about John Cena and AJ having a bit of a fling. This is so cheesy.
Wait, how can she see John Cena?
Yeah, exactly. Good point. So at this point, we're seeing as well Vicky Guerrero is with. This is so strange. Hold on. Vicky Guerrero is with Dolph Ziggler, who is holding the Money in the Bank briefcase, and when he cashes in, AJ is by his side.
Yep. And you were there for that cash-in.
I was there, but I feel like if this was 2002, I could tell you exactly how they got there. But 2012, I'm like, no idea. Like, how does he end up with Big E and AJ? I don't know. I just remember enjoying it.
No, I can't remember.
Right, so AJ Lee's trying to stop Cena. She slaps.
Oh,
Dolphy. He gets a punch from Cena. They're in different matches as well. So, she's got her own evidence she's going to share. Oh, I'm excited to see this, Rob. That's what I'm caught in two minds. This show was so forgettable that I don't remember it. That clearly anything that happens on it isn't going to be that exciting. But so forgettable that I'm excited because I don't remember what happened. I'm in two minds. Anyway, Light Up, good theme song by AJ Lee. Well, not by AJ Lee. I don't think she sang it, but for AJ Lee.
We were talking about the women's matches and how good certain women were, and we completely bypassed AJ Lee.
Yeah, 100%.
She was great.
She kickstarts the women's revolution, you could say, with her loss to Paige. Not that she was the one passing the torch from a bad generation or a bad part of it. It's just that we finally got two people in the ring. We were like, whoa,
yeah,
this could be something. Of course, it didn't quite end up that way for AJ Lee after that, but they ruined her character as well. Like, she was so exciting. And then they went, people like her. She's the GM. What the heck was that?
Yeah,
like,
I forgot
what
about
the
that.
heck? Like, they completely wasted it. It reminds me of Otis, when Otis was on fire and they made him Money in the Bank champ.
You're still quite salty about that.
Yeah, of course. But why? Like, they could be two different things.
But they can't. Because it's WWE. It was Vince.
Yeah.
That's
Madness.
the problem.
Crazy.
Come to think of it, I actually think I've got an Otis Money in the Bank Funko Pop.
I think you said that before, actually.
I think I do.
Yeah. I think you bought it to spite me.
I think I did, actually.
Again, I liked Otis. I still like Otis, but I think it didn't make sense. There we go. Vicky coming out.
Do you know a Vicky Guerrero moment? I'll remember. Two of
Go
them.
on.
One, when The Rock sings to her.
Yeah.
Right? And then when Vicky leaves as a babyface and a whole crowd is behind her. When she has that match, I think it's against, is it Stephanie or Eve Torres or something?
Yeah,
I just remember the pop at the end when she throws, I think she throws Stephanie into the mud or something.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of like, you've been a good heel. We appreciate you. We didn't want to boo you. We were playing along. Kite, cheers. I feel like.
But that was a great moment. Nice. And then she come back at Rumble to a huge pop of, excuse me.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Right, so it's a Photoshop picture of her, Ricardo Rodriguez, eating.
I mean, wraps. Is that Photoshop?
Yeah, it's Photoshopped. It is. Alright, she's enjoying Ricardo's burrito. That's a cheeky. Oh, so is she SmackDown GM or is she just in charge of the women's division? I think she had something like that before. Alright. Oh, the fake life of Michael Cole was horrific. Right, so the next image was a Photoshop of JR and his barbecue sauce.
Barbecue.
And Vicky with the hat on and barbecue sauce over her mouth. She's telling to push it. This is so awkward. They're both facing the card cam so uncomfortably. It's almost like they're watching a screen backstage when they look like that, you know, like. Oh, she's got more evidence. One that's not photoshopped, I think. It's her dancing with Brodus Clay. You enjoy this, Rob?
It's just, you know, when you think back and you think 2012 was a weird year for wrestling. The Photoshop's also so bad.
Yeah. I guess there's meant to be the point on this bit, though.
Yeah.
All right, so where we are on the stream now, we're an hour and 2 and 5 seconds in to Survivor Series 2012. So again, if you've lost your sync with us or you're joining us late on live, or lost your sync on demand, then that's where we are at the moment. We've got AJ Lee cutting a promo on Vicky Guerrero in the ring. Daniel's here. Thank you for joining us, Daniel. Hey guys. I love this pay-per-view. Yeah, see, we're just revisiting it for the first time in 10 years, Daniel. We don't really remember much about it, but as we go along, we're starting to, well, I would say starting to remember. With Survivor Series 2002, we remembered stuff as we went along. This, I still don't recall a lot of it. I roughly remember what these people were doing at the time, but the moments themselves, not so much. And even though this feels typical of its time, as you say, very 2012. But what did you enjoy about this pay-per-view, Dan? It's good to hear from you. Thanks for joining us again. Oh, AJ's doing that kind of I'm crazy look that they kind of really try to push. Oh, and then she laughs. There we go. Where's this going? Because again, this feels like it could be on Raw. This Survivor Series feels like a Raw. Other than the first match. All Daniel remembers is the Shield's debut. There we go. We're going to get to that later on, Daniel. Rob doesn't even remember what match it happens in, so don't give him a spoiler here. He's not quite sure. I remember when it happened. Oh, it is Tamina.
Is that Tamina?
Tamina, right. So Tamina in one of her many should have been something phases. Because even this, I'm looking at this going, oh, wow, what's next for Tamina? And I know it's nothing. You know?
Yeah. That's a good slash, though.
Yeah, what's good slash?
Wait, did she re-debut then? Is this her return? No? I don't even remember wearing it. I don't even remember her.
I don't remember.
I'm so
I don't remember wearing that. Oh, when did? Yeah, I remember you wearing that, Rob. You wore it for a stream a few years ago.
I want to put it past us.
All right, Daniel remembers what match it is, but Rob doesn't. So we're going to hopefully surprise Rob when it happens. I guess until one match comes on, then it doesn't happen in that, and then he realizes it's in the next one. Oh my gosh, that used to annoy me so much that every single time.
Oh, it's got his
Josh
ponytail
Matthews
there.
said, "Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest at this time." It was always the exact same phrase. I don't understand it.
Don't know.
I don't know if he's trying to get across a catchphrase. They wanted him to say certain things. Daniel asked, "Were the Usos about in 2012?" Not on this show. What were they doing, Rob? Do you remember? Because we've just seen Tamina.
They debuted in 2010.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, they'd been around, but what are they doing? Why are they not here? Are they injured? Is one of them injured? Because that happened a lot when one got injured.
Do you remember the Usos? They got lost. So they debuted with Tamina. Then they got lost in the shuffle. And I think it was round about this time that they started doing. Do you remember they done the face paint? A hacker?
Yeah.
They had the face painted on a hacker, and then they realized this is where they started to get going again. So from 2012 was that
they're
time
not being
when they
used
started
here,
to
or do you think they're just being injured? One of them's injured.
Probably.
It's mad, isn't it? Because you've got Primo and Epico. Again, you think of that generation, these teams. Primo and Epico. You got Team Hell No, who aren't a proper team, but you know everybody loves them, and they're tag champs at this time. Primo and Epico, primetime players. The Usos, even Tyson Kidd and
Justin Gabriel,
PJ Black, Justin Gabriel. Not a proper team, you could say, it's 2 people thrown together. But what a division they could have had.
Yeah. I mean, there's no New Day at this point.
Sandow and Cody, because I mentioned earlier on, Sandow's annoyed about Cody. Reigning defending WWE champ, CM Punk. There we go. Proper in his little phrase. I don't remember him using them other than just on Brock. CM Punk, the best in the world, he says. Okay, so the song is Out of Sight. Now or never.
Well, I don't remember it now, and I never will.
Then, now, forever, as in forgotten by us. Out of Sight. Let's Google Out of Sight. Whatever happened to Out of Sight? Out of Sight. American singer. The debut album Nights Like These come out in 2012. Platinum selling Tonight Is the Night. What's the name of this song? Was that it?
Out of Sight. Wait.
No, that was the name of it. That's
I have no clue. No idea, bro.
No clue.
No clue.
Tonight Is the Night was the theme of the 1000th episode of Raw, though. So WWE are really pushing this guy. Anyway, we go. Big Show versus Sheamus. I don't remember anything from this match, Rob, but it feels very 2012 to me. You can take that as a bad way or a good way. I don't know, but we'll see from the match.
What sort of statement is that? I don't remember it, but it feels 2012.
No, I don't remember the exact match, but it feels like a 2012 match. Daniel says, "I love the Shield. Wish they were in WWE today." What happened to Brock in 2012? Doesn't Brock come back in 2013?
He comes back late because Cena loses to The Rock. Brock comes out to Cena's talking. Brock comes out the night after, and then he gives him the F5. The following.
No, that's not the night. That's 2011 then.
That's 2011 because I know it's the Cena comes out on the next Raw and slaps Brock, and then they go up for Extreme Rules. That's that next.
Yeah,
that next build.
What feud that was, by the way. Yeah, no. So yeah, Brock's just not being used. Is he? I mean, he goes away a lot. It's mad to think how long Brock's been back. Let's see. Let's Google Brock Lesnar 2012. He's on Raw in April 2012. Oh, that's when he comes out. Wait, hold on. It's not after the Cena Rock match then, because Cena Rock is in. Oh, it is. No, yeah, it's 2 years in a row, isn't it? I kept thinking there was a year gap. Right. So Brock's had his run in 2012. Is going to work. It's mad how young Brock looks. I'm just looking at a picture of him in 2012. Mad how young he looks.
Crazy, isn't it?
And it was like, oh, he's not the young guy anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Brock was around. I just don't think he was used because obviously at that moment he wasn't being used with Paul Heyman, was he? Because after CM Punk stuff,
so when did they put
he gets after the Ryback stuff? Because Heyman turns to Ryback, and then he gets Axel.
Yeah, and Cesaro as well.
Yeah, so he gets all that, and then he goes back to Brock.
So it's the Paul Heyman guy thing because of Punk's promo, but then
I think so.
They try and build a mini stable. It doesn't quite work, and then He goes to. I thought he was back with Brock. Brock goes away. He goes to Punk for a bit. So he doesn't come back.
It's with.
He's brought
Brock
back as a manager to
Punk.
be with Punk. Then
Punk. Yeah.
Wow. It's not the way I remember.
Because I think Punk says, "I'm a Paul Heyman guy."
He says that in the pipe bomb.
Yeah, and then I think when he wins the championship, then Heyman's with him, or at some point around that, he's with him.
Yeah,
because then obviously that's when the whole thing goes, and then obviously we get the Ryback and Curtis Axel stuff, Cesaro stuff. Then we're getting back with Brock.
Yeah, weird to think it took that long to get back to Brock then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do remember him not being with Brock and people being like, it'd be great to put them back together, but I just assumed it happened before the Punk stuff. But
did Punk wrestle Brock?
Yeah, I'm sure he did. I'm pretty sure he did. Let's have a look.
I can't remember what year it was. I know Heyman was with
2013. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Because I know that must have been that point because Heyman was in Brock's corner.
Yeah. So Punk is betrayed by Heyman in 2013. Money in the Bank. He joins.
Wow. So just think in under like 8 months. Yeah. So in just under a year, he goes through Punk into Ryback, into Curtis Axel, to Cesaro, back to Brock. That's mad.
It must do, yeah. Well, unless that's happened before this, I don't know. It was very quick, the whole Paul Heyman guys thing, weren't it? It didn't go on that long.
Fella.
So, yeah, lovely sign there. But yeah, thanks for your comment there, Daniel. What was that, Rob?
I had that CM Punk top. You know, the yellow GTS.
That's a nice shirt, actually. I had
the white one with the that symbol. You know,
the Chicago one.
The best in the world, yeah.
Yeah, I had that, and I've got the black one with the 2 wrist tapes.
Mm-hmm.
The one he wears at when he wins the Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
WrestleMania 25, and wins the title from that as well.
Spoilers
for 2009, yeah. See, we just watched Big Show come out to my favorite Big Show theme, and now he's coming out to the one that everybody seems to like and remember. Unless you're our age, Rob.
It's the Big Show.
Well, I can kind of be bothered to be the Big Show. That's what it feels like to me. All right, he's the world heavyweight champ here. Heavyweight, the key word. Look at the size of the man.
Do you know what? I don't mind a big guy carrying a championship. Brock Lesnar, for example. But I think if you're of a certain size, you either get a bigger belt so it matches you, or just drag the belt.
Yeah,
like you put it on your shoulder. It looks silly, doesn't it?
Didn't they do it with? They made a point of it with Mark Henry. They put an extension on.
I think so.
Yeah, and I think they made a point out of it.
It just because he's not going to wear it around his waist, so he just covers it over his shoulder. Like it's weird. I used to love how Austin and Rock just walked down to the ring, just dragged it across the floor.
Oh, really? A lot of people hate that. A lot of people hate that because I think it's disrespectful.
Yeah, but they made that title.
I could see the point of it being disrespectful, if I'm honest. I think it looked cool, but if I was a fan now, I think and I weren't a kid thinking it was cool the way they dragged it through it. Like, I remember Bubba wearing it around his neck and stuff like that.
That was good.
But I understand the point of being.
Yeah, I get it. It doesn't wind me up though. I mean, if you're a prime example was a natural heel that used to wind people up, Dolph Ziggler, because he'd wear it out backwards and then he'd turn it around.
I
thought that was great. People moaned about that, and I was like, no.
People moaned about anything though. This one's got the red inside strap as well. What I didn't like about the World Heavyweight title, I got to say, is how small they made it. Because it used to be massive. I didn't like the flat version. Don't get me wrong. There's a flat version WCW for a bit. It looked terrible. It was always folding off the plates.
Beautiful title, though.
It was almost too curved with WWE. There's a nice sweet spot in WCW, but it's too small. It was called the Big Gold, and at this point, it's the medium gold.
It's a little gold on Big Show.
Yeah, tiny gold on him. So it looks terrible.
Have you got a favorite title?
Oh, again, Rob.
Or is that another podcast?
That's another pod for another day. I don't think I could definitively tell you. I think even that.
I have one. I know exactly what it is.
Leave it then. Leave it. Don't tell me. Right. On that note, I think it's time to go toilet. I'm going to leave it with you, Rob, for a few seconds. You're right to go solo.
I'm amazed that Sheamus versus Big Show is your toilet break. What does that say?
Well, I tried not to do it in the women's match because I know most people would have gone for real in the arena for that. But I wasn't going to do that. So yeah, I'm going to do it here. All right, I'm going to leave it to you, Rob, for just a bit. Anyway, you know what? To keep you company, I'll put that in there as well. See you in a sec. Right. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Rob. Is it me, guys? Is it Rob? What's going on? I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Give me a nod. Give me a hell yeah. I can't hear you, Rob. What's going on? I can hear my stream. Can't hear you. Right, I think Rob's going to leave and try and rejoin to fix this. I'm going to be lonely for a few seconds, guys. But then again, I left him like that, to be fair, didn't I? Here's where we are on the stream. 1 hour, 20 minutes, 39 seconds into Survivor Series 2012. Much appreciate anyone that watches on demand or live, as always. Just a little kind of plug here, because I don't know what's going on in this match. I haven't been watching it. We got SummerSlam 1992 watch along on this channel. We got SummerSlam 2002 watch along on this channel. We got ECW One Night Stand 2005 watch along on this channel. And of course, recently we did the 2002 version of Survivor Series as a watch along on this channel as well. On top of that, plenty of interviews, WWE superstars. We'd appreciate it if you checked them out. We've got Damian Priest, we've got Bianca Belair, and we've got Butch, just to name a few. And I really mean just to name a few. There's quite a lot on this channel now as well. So give those a little bit of a watch if you haven't already. I've just seen Sheamus fall right to the mat. Looks like some sort of it wasn't a WMD, was it? Here we go. Rob, are you back? Can I hear you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, mate. Rob, I think the whole time I was gone, no one could hear you.
I'm really worried because I had to replug my microphone back in. So I think you may be right. So I may have just been talking to myself, and you missed out some good commentary there.
I do apologize. No. So when I left, right, I left the stream. I had my headphones in for a few seconds, my earphones even, and you didn't say anything. I thought, oh, he's not talking. He'll talk, I'm sure. So I went out, went to the toilet, got a drink, whatever I had to do, and I come back, couldn't hear you still, and I thought, has he just not been talking this whole time? But yeah, I think for some strange reason, as soon as I left, your mic messed up.
All right, well, I mean, I'll have to.
What's been going on, Rob? What's going on in this match? What have I missed?
Big Show done a huge spear, a mid-air spear. So Sheamus jumped off the top rope. That was nice. Into what we got now? A sidewalk slam, which I love from a big man. It's great to see. Yeah. So Big Show threw Sheamus into some steps, and they were talking about they were still steps and all this jargon. So was this round about the time when they done the stairs match?
Oh god!
Do you remember that?
A shudder. Just
tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs. That's what it was, wasn't it?
I know Big Show was in it. Who was it against? Was it Sheamus?
I'll have a look.
TLC is usually in December, isn't it? So I could see that. But then I don't think it was for a title, was it, that match?
It was TLC.
Yeah, I know it was TLC, but I remember even the graphic, the little scratch stairs bit. Like,
let's have a look-ski. It was Big Show versus Eric Rowan.
Flipping heck, how awful was that then? I remember it being. What year was that? I'm gonna say 2014 then.
Yes, yeah, you're right. I'll give you a bonus point if you can tell me who was the cover.
As in, who's on the poster?
Yeah. Well, the main person, the main guy that's on it. And there's a chair with a green bow.
Oh, because of Christmas, isn't it? 2014.
Well, this is a promotional poster, so they've probably done numerous, but the one that the WWE are using for
the one that was the poster leading up to it, rather than who was the main event or anything like that. I'm gonna say,
I'll tell you where the city was, and that'll give you a clue. Ready? It's in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, The Miz.
No.
Oh, who then?
It's Dolph Ziggler.
Is he from Cleveland, Ohio?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's why him and Miz are such good buds. Because Miz is from there, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But isn't he billed now from like Hollywood or something like that?
Yeah, that's probably right. Yeah. Going back to the sidewalk slam.
Yeah.
should we anglicize that and call it the pavement slam?
We should. We should. Now, from now on, British wrestling, it's a pavement slam. That's a...
And that's not like changing like the Boston Crab or the Irish Whip or anything like that, because those are specific about a place. We're talking about just a word that's different.
Yeah.
Over here, right? Sheamus has now got Big Show on the top of his shoulders.
My days.
I could see the fear of Big Show's face, and I felt the same way when I was held up at the Arsenal double victory parade in 1998. I was terrified. Scary being up that high.
And you could have another Arsenal victory parade this season.
Hey, don't tempt me to talk about that, mate. Of course, we've got a football channel, guys. Check out the Rebellious Noise football channel. You're tuned in here to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. If you want to see us guys talk about football as well, that's a place to join us. And at time of recording, we're close to the World Cup, so we're going to have a lot of content on there as well to look out for. So yeah,
you want me to segue away from that? Keep it in.
Keep it wrestling.
What we're talking about. Yeah. So if you haven't seen, WWE Raw have literally just done. Actually, SmackDown started their World Cup, and a few people already through. So that'll be interesting to see what happens on Raw.
I really like that they tried to do it for the Saudi show years ago, but I didn't like what it became, and it felt like a missed opportunity. So me and Dan did one on the Rebellious Noise channel, the main channel, before we split off into a wrestling channel. Check that out. We did it in 2020 when the world was a bit mad. We had no football and we had no wrestling with fans, so it was a good time to talk about it. And we were going to do another one, and I actually recorded promos with certain wrestlers, asking them if they wanted to be compared. Yeah, and they all said it was a great idea. They agreed with me that WWE should do it again. And now, annoyingly, WWE are doing it again, even though that's exactly what I wanted. Because chokeslam nearly from Big Show. Oh, up for the Celtic Cross here from Sheamus. Showed it in the promo package that it hit. Surely this time's going to be a kick out, though, because if you'd already done it once, kick out. There we go, mate. I just feel like I know how the way things are booked. Saying that, maybe not this year because I'm not doing.
Anyone would think that you may have seen this before.
Hey, yeah, but I forgot. I just said it felt right. Anyway, the point is, like Lita's song, it just feels right. My point is, what was my point?
About the World Cup.
That's about it. Yeah, WWE World Cup. I feel like they should do another one, and they are doing another one. But annoyingly, we haven't got around to putting together our next version of that. So, there you go. So when I say to these wrestlers in the video, and they go, "Wow, yeah, that's a good idea," it's kind of annoying because WWE have.
You might have to put a disclaimer. This video was recorded at so and so.
Yeah.
So at the time of recording,
building it up
just
over time to just try and get some like different things from it. But hey, it is what it is. I'm glad. The whole point is I like the kind of format, so I'm glad they've done it. Oh my gosh! I just realized who the ref is, of course.
Not much love
for
him,
Armstrong has gone. Well, didn't he have didn't they end his WWE ref career with a controversial thing?
Yeah.
Like in storyline, didn't he help someone to win or something like that?
I feel like, am I going to say Daniel Bryan?
Which is a good way to go out if you really think about it. You know, if you're going to retire anyway. It's like saying, I'm going to shave my head. Do you want to do hair versus hair? It's that kind of thing, you know?
Well, yeah.
I love how Sheamus looks genuinely concerned for him. Not just get up because I want to get the pin or anything like that. Fans cheering high pitch for something. What's going on? Seen there?
Big Show.
Oh, no. See, Big Show's back up. They're warning Sheamus. Oh, WMD. That's it. All over.
Wow. This is confusing, right? Fill this in for me, please.
Yeah, go on.
So, if a wrestler gets knocked out,
the
match stops, right?
Yeah.
They have to stop the match because the wrestler's been knocked out there to make sure his safety. But Big Show does an open right hand, knockout punch.
Yeah.
And he's entitled to pin the wrestler, and they can't kick out. Now.
Oh, so it's meant to be a knockout blow, is what you're saying?
Yeah, if it's supposed to be a knockout blow, the match should stop. No?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. But I guess where they just never use that. Oh, hold on. The ref's going to say something to Justin Roberts here. Disqualified. Someone's getting disqualified. Big Show. Oh, but it's not going to change the result.
No.
There's a lot of kids in the crowd. That is a high pitched. Oh, mate, the old Sheamus song as well. You know, there were rumors he wanted to bring it back, didn't he? He was told no.
I like it, but the one he's got now is so good.
Yeah, but this one's better. It should be used like Drew when Drew at Clash used,
I called that as well. You said they were gonna, it was gonna come out to that music, and I was like, they're gonna do a video package with that over the top.
The only thing missing was the bagpipes. I really thought they'd do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they didn't. I don't like bagpipes. Controversial, I know, but it's just noise, isn't it? It's like if me and you got recorders and tried to play a song. It's just awful.
Yeah, but even recorders can sound good, man. Depends how good you are at a recorder. Oh, okay. So Sheamus getting the loss has got to send the fans home happy. Well, not completely. It's not the end night, but you know what I mean. Got to have the lasting image of this match as Sheamus looking good. All right, so just go on.
And so we're not in that weird period yet where every single time someone gets hit with something, you zoom in. We're not there yet.
Thankfully.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, thankfully. Here we are with the timestamp. Of course, on the show, we're watching Survivor Series 2012. That's where we are at the moment for anyone that's trying to sync up with us as well. I don't know what I feel about this show, Rob. I feel like, I know we're only about halfway through at the moment, but
it just feels like Raw, doesn't it?
It does. It really does.
Oh,
like it's not been a bad show. If I was at the event, I'd think, oh, that was fun. At this point, but
did that say Team Turnip? What did that say?
I don't know. I saw DZ and I saw the Brock Lesnar guy in his shirt and his buddy next to him wearing the same shirt. Seems like he tried to make a tag team for a bit. No one remembers that. But yeah, I don't think it's just not a memorable show. But again, we'll get to that later. We'll hold our thoughts back for the full review at the end. But yeah, Sheamus feels like a heel here, doesn't he?
A little, but then I guess when the babyface finally snaps,
it's comeuppance on the bad guy, isn't it? Yeah. Show's trying to say please, pleading for himself here. Come on, man. Sheamus thinking about it. He wants him to beg. What difference is that going to make, Shamey? Why is there tape on the bottom of the chair?
Because you got it from thingy where the desk is. So I'm assuming it's just
a designated chair. Or yeah, it looked like it's maybe going to be gimmicked.
It could be.
But if someone's sitting on it, you don't have to give that away. You could be like, it's the one that so-and-so's sitting on. There we go, bro kick.
Bro kick.
Feels like the wrong call for me. I have no idea who won. Like when Big Show won the title, I have no idea who takes it off him. I have no idea what's going on with Sheamus. But if I was watching this on its own, I would say Sheamus should have won that.
Is this things are coming back to me, mate? And I think, do you remember when maybe you remember when Big Show and Sheamus done the who hits heavier, and Big Show they had like the punch bag, do you remember the machine, the punch machine? The Big Show hit a certain thing, and then Sheamus done the bro kick to it. Do you remember?
Very like slightly. I don't think I really remember it. I don't know if I'm just picturing it in my head.
I'm gonna find a picture.
Is that a dream?
No, I'm telling you, it happened. Someone comment because I swear it happened.
Oh, mate. This is the thing. At this time, right, there's all this stuff about the PG era. Like, that's not really a term used anymore. But it was for so long a thing. And I remember feeling really in that at the time. Looking back, this is ridiculously PG and cheesy. Like, it's so... there's not that many layers to storyline. It's so obvious and everything's obvious and blatant. It's just like going through the motions. It's almost worse than I remember.
I was right.
Yeah, see, and then this kind of thing you're bringing up now as well. It just sounds so of that time, and I'm not surprised now. And you again hearing all the high pitched screams. There's nothing wrong with kids going to wrestling shows, by the way. I was one of those kids, and I got to it in the Attitude Era. But come on,
yeah, it was a punch contest,
and Sheamus went, "Screw it,
Sheamus
I'm kicking it."
Pro kicked it, and
I'm
Big
kicking
Show
it.
punched
Screw it.
By WWE, the October the 12th, 2012.
So
this is the build up, yeah.
Okay.
Which is why I'm guessing why they said about the power of the punch and the kick in the build up promo to the show.
Okay.
I was thinking, why are they talking about that?
They didn't show that in the video, did they?
No.
Big Show crawling away here. What are they saying? Feels like it should be You Deserve It, but what is it?
I thought it said we want Ziggler.
Oh yeah, maybe it is because he's Money in the Bank. That is
yeah. It's got to be.
Oh, it's an advert. Look at that. Look how good I am, Rob. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I said that is some old footage. I knew it's from the Attitude Era, and it's an advert for, I think, the Attitude Era DVD Blu-ray that came out, which was actually a really good documentary.
Mm.
And I got that from the crowd shot, Rob. I'm a nerd.
Yeah, you are. Buddy. Rest absolute mark.
Hey, I wouldn't use that word.
Oh, is that a step too far, is it?
See, that's something I was watching this at this time, seeing this ad going, it used to be good. I'm sorry, but there is no way you could be watching WWE today thinking 10 years ago was better. Which is exactly what I was thinking back then. And I know it's nostalgia for a big part, rose-tinted glasses and that. But come on.
I would watch that, that DVD.
It's great. I've seen it.
I've never seen it. Is it on the network?
I don't know. Network's probably going to be shut down soon. So hurry up and watch it, mate. That's falling apart. What's this? Oh, it's the team. 5-on-5. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Ricardo Rodriguez, of course, with his personal ring announcement, because he's the personal ring announcer. I said that in the wrong order. I used to like Del Rio's theme. I liked Ricardo.
Man.
I loved the car. I thought Del Rio was cool. I liked a lot of this. Again, going back to this era when I'm like, there's so much of it is rubbish. There were things that stood out to me. Why is it the Addams Family car?
Don't remind me of,
not the Addams Family.
Races,
that's what I'm thinking. The seven guys in the car.
When the Anthill Bob.
He's wearing a black scarf. I don't remember him really doing it. Is it 2012 that he wins the Royal Rumble then? Earlier this year?
Maybe.
The 40-man Rumble, which was silly. They were desperate, man. This is such a weird period. They're so desperate to make headlines, and it's always the wrong things that they, the wrong horse they back is basically what I'll say. Great intro, though, by Ricardo Rodriguez.
Love that entrance.
Same.
What ruins him for me, Ricardo Rodriguez, is when he got teamed with Rob Van Dam and he became the numero uno amigo and then disappeared.
I don't even remember that. I remember him turning face and wearing some weird stuff wrestling.
Yeah.
Damien Sandow, here we go, coming out to Hallelujah. Quite the jam. I love
that. Your jam, is it?
Yeah, well, as much as I remember Mizdow, and everybody points back to that, I loved this version of Sandow as well. What he did with Miz was fantastic. Yeah. But like the reason why I liked him in the first place because I thought he was a fantastic heel. Oh, the song! Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, all about the power. David Otunga was so good.
Yeah, mate.
He was tag team champion with John Cena.
Honestly, if there was a podcast of me from 2012, I'd love to hear it. Because I know,
Look
I
at
think
him.
Talk of Beans we started in
What a specimen of a man. Look at
2016. But I wish we were doing stuff back at this point because there's so many opinions I remember having
dude.
so strongly that Otunga should have been a star as well.
How was he not a star?
Well, then they stopped him wrestling. He slowed.
Oh!
I think it was injuries. That was an awful landing. Is that why Cody's out then?
I believe so.
Separated shoulder. Flip. You can't even try to land safe there, can you? The way he's falling.
I don't look. It's crazy to think that that's Cody there compared to the Cody that we have now.
Who's also injured, by the way. And,
well, yeah. All right. But
no, I'm not putting it down. I'm not saying it's a downer on it. I'm just saying we're about to get a return, so that's exciting. What's Wade's got as a song? Because he had about 12. Yeah, not one of my favorites.
Is this the Bullhammer Wade?
Yeah. Barrett Barrage. Again, talk about waste. Should have won the NXT title. Sorry, what am I saying? Should have won the WWE title when he was from the Nexus, which come from NXT as well.
Yeah.
We should do a whole pod on should-haves.
I'm down. 100% down for that.
Like our top 5 things that should have happened, sort of thing. I used to love this shirt
as well.
Oh, did you? I wish I had this shirt.
Dude.
Wow, so he doesn't cash in for another 7 months? 6, 7 months? No, WrestleMania is in April, isn't it? So this is November, yeah.
January, February, March, April. 4 months. January, February, March, April. 4 months.
And by then he's got AJ Lee. Nice. He was so over at this point as well.
So good.
You could argue, but this leads to him being world champion. So we can't begrudge him for that, you know. But there are other times where he could have been champ. Here we go, Foley. Team captain who's not in the match.
Bang, bang.
But why? Like, why? I don't understand it. Again, they used to kind of bring him back for especially Hell in a Cell. My goodness.
I don't remember.
But what is this got to do with anything? Like, I know when they did the Authority one, it's like, oh, things could go really bad here. And Dolph, ironically, a time where he should have been pushed to the freaking moon after it, because that excitement for Dolph being a sole survivor was unreal. This is Kane's theme that we're talking about on the other stream, where they bring back this theme song, which I was happy to hear, but not with a guitar. I love that. Team Hell No arguing on the way to the ring. Again, this is a great example of those. You know, we talk about all the time on the podcast, these teams that are just thrown together. But sometimes they strike it lucky, and it's not to do with the stupid idea to putting them together in the first place. It's because the talent get over.
The skits they had though, well, especially the one when they're in the diner. Mae Young's at the end. We know when they're saying yes, no, and she goes, "I'll have what they're having."
That's the old Harry Met Sally, isn't it?
My favorite IC title.
Oh, it's a beauty, isn't it? Of course, brought back by Cody Rhodes.
So it looked great on Cody.
It did, yeah. So Kofi's not Jamaican Kofi, but he's still using that song at this point, of course, until he joins the New Day.
Again to pay.
Right, here we go. So we got the Miz. Thinking about it as well, the Miz is a few months out from being WWE champ. He's a year and a half, I should say, because it was 2011. Of course, he gets injured in a match, which is horrific. It's really sad that he doesn't even remember much of his WrestleMania moment, main event in it at least.
Yeah, was that the when he's sitting on they go over the top of the barricade?
On the barrier, yeah. His head, awful. All right, Randy Orton coming out next. Again, everyone that's joined us, we're about 2 hours into the stream now, and we are 1 hour 45 into the show itself. those that are watching on demand, those that are watching live. Really appreciate everyone that joins us on any of these streams. Tell your friends, your family, your enemy, and subscribe to us here at Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling. And what we're doing here, of course, is Survivor Series 2012. As I mentioned earlier on, we did a bit of a rundown of all the watch-alongs we've done on this channel. Kind of retro ones, at least, because, of course, we've done Crown Jewel recently as well. But yeah, definitely check out more of our stuff on this channel if you're into pro wrestling, which I'm sure you are. We'll be doing some more of these coming up as well. Not quite sure what our next watch along will be, but hey, the Rumble's coming up soon, Rob. So
it is.
That's probably a good one to throw it back as well once again. It's so funny when we see Orton in these periods because credit to the man, he steps back a lot. You know, he falls into secondary roles and things like that quite a lot.
Yeah. 2009 Randy Orton was something different. Do you have to remember when he was the skinhead and
well, except for the main event with Triple H at WrestleMania, which is boring.
But that 2009 run was fantastic.
Yeah. Even the build up to that feud, you know, get thrown through the window by Triple H and all that. And even what happens on Raw, they do a whole Batista comes back, you got the McMahons and all that. Yeah, it was good. Raw after Mania, but
he handcuffs Triple H to the ring, right?
Oh, and kisses Steph. No, yeah.
Oh man,
that was great.
But I think, you know what, we talk about all that, how great it was, the Legend Killer, all that stuff, and then even the stuff that he done with Riddle, that's been great.
Yeah, definitely. Be excited. You know, interested to see what happens when he comes back, because a big part of that is eventually splitting up, and would it really have the same effect now that they haven't been together for a long time? I think what they might do, and this is very much of its time, anyone watching in the future might be laughing at this or saying whatever, doesn't matter, they ruined it or whatever, is bring him back as a face to help Riddle and then screw Riddle straight away, because I think it'd be too long now to drag it out at them as a team again. I think you'd have to turn on them straight away. So we'll see how that goes anyway. I forgot Sandow doing those weird poses and that. Do you remember he used to hold the mic like a wine glass?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Sandow was so good. Such a throwback as well. Even his gear.
The thing with Mizdow, I need to call him Sandow. No, Sandow even. Not
you nearly called him Mizdow.
But the thing with Sandow, I appreciate him, but do you remember when you'd make a wrestler and you just put random gear on him, give him a bit of a
like that, Rob. I like that. I like that because it's a throwback.
After every move, you'd do a taunt just to get up your power bar. No, like in a wrestling game, after every move, you'd do a taunt. And it just seemed like he was too much like a created superstar.
So what you're saying is Damien Sandow is the ultimate core?
Yeah.
The ultimate created wrestler. Okay. Well, not the ultimate, but like the typical.
Yeah, the generic core created wrestler that you'd probably call like Axe or Ace or something like that. I mean, I'm not against it.
Depends what limited options they gave you when you had to press the commentator button. That's why I've always been good being, you know, my name, first name, and my last name being a first name Warren as well, Scott Warren. It means I was always halfway there on any game back in the day when they could only have limited names. Scott or Warren, I was pretty close. You know, I could at least put my name on there somewhere. So I was happy with that.
I was happy when they had the name Rob on FIFA. So, you know.
I was thinking of FIFA as well, because sometimes I had to be called Scott.
Yeah.
But Warren was all right. All right, Sandow's out. First one, mental. Because again, at this time, I know I would have been fuming. Go on, what was you going to say, Rob?
I was going to say, is like, especially in wrestling games, but later on when they when you could hear the voice. So I just have Rob or whatever, and then I got to a point
when you can hear it,
and I just have like I didn't want my surname on there, so I was like, oh, Rob, someone's like, and that's so now I've just got a generic name that I use for every game if I play something.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
What, that has come from that?
Yeah. So I liked one thing, and I found something else, and then I found something else. I was like, that sounds pretty good.
Okay. Oh, wait. Hold on. Kane's been eliminated by Ziggler. That was a cool slide back to the corner there.
That was
in
good.
Fear. I love that. That was great from Ziggler. What a superstar. Anyway, right. So you had a Hollywood name sort of thing, right? So a wrestler name even.
Yeah.
What is it then? What's your name?
Oh, yeah. You have to find out. We'll do it in a stream because it's a long story.
Okay. All right. That's its own thing. All right. I appreciate that.
That's a beautiful suplex.
It is, yeah. Bouncing off the ropes.
Ooh.
Yeah, that is a big shocker, actually. Kane going out straight away.
I just realised Dolph's wearing like trunks, not the
Oh my goodness! Hold on!
Flipping heck!
Flipping is right. So a monkey flip, right? That was a monkey flip, right?
Yeah.
He spanned so many times, I've lost myself. Kofi does a monkey flip to Ziggler. He spins so much that he lands on his front. Wow. Anyway, Dolph's wearing trunks instead of what? Shorts? Like more.
Oh, we're gonna show it again. How many times did you go?
Wow.
Oh, so it's just
the
one
speed
turn round,
of that though. The speed is unreal.
Yeah, it's like your 450s.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So at the moment, Dolph's wearing pants, trunks, and not the what do you call them? Not like hot pants, but they're biker shorts.
Yeah, shorts. Yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah, and now he wears tights. So
yeah, well, yeah. What I was gonna say, because when he cashed in, he's wearing shorts, right? Is it silver? Silver ones.
I think he is. Yeah.
So this is that period where he obviously we know he's aligned with Vicky. I think she's brought him back again, and this is that push from there. It feels right that it's round about that time, at least.
Well, they also have that weird time when I don't even know when this happens, when they cut his hair and dye it brown for like 2 weeks.
Maybe that was at the beginning with Vicky, because he did go brown,
yeah,
didn't he?
I think
he went back to blonde.
With Vicky.
Is it like the new Dolph Ziggler or something? It was something like that.
Yeah.
It was a weird time in wrestling.
You know what? Look at that. I love that about Wade Barrett's gear because it was so classic wrestling, British wrestling throwback. He has the Union Jack on the front and the back. Isn't a font you would use in that era or today, maybe. Isn't a style of the way the font curves and stuff like that. But it was so classic British wrestling, and I really appreciated that. I thought it was one of my favorite things about Barrett at the time.
Yeah,
was his gear being so simple, but like a subtle kind of nod to the World of Sport era. I thought it was so cool.
Mad to think now that he's like a fantastic commentator on SmackDown.
Yeah. I mean, we go back to even who's in the ring now. David Otunga working with Daniel Bryan. Otunga, as we mentioned. Oh, and he's tapped out. There we go. What a ironic piece of footage there. Right, so David Otunga becomes an analysis, which I think worked well with his character. And I think it was injury-based at first. And then he just wrestled less and less and less, and he never came back. Even in that role, I liked him in that role, man. I don't know where he went from there, to be honest, but I guess I just let him go at some point. But yeah, the fact that never kind of he has so much potential, even in NXT. We're talking the original NXT here, by the way, guys.
It's just when Seth won it. There was like Neville and Bo Dallas and
no, before that? Way before that. The original one with the whole of the Nexus.
Yeah.
And then the next one after that is the one with Titus O'Neil and all that. I think that's the next one.
Oh yeah, because NXT was the
TV show, not
the TV. Yeah, because it wasn't a brand then, was it?
Yeah. So it was NXT. It was all the NXT guys. Then after that, it was the one with I think it's Titus O'Neil. I think that's that year. Then I think the third one's the women's one.
God.
And I think that might be the last one actually.
Yeah, because Daniel Bryan,
he's in the first one.
Yeah, is that the Miz was his mentor, wasn't
he? Yeah, he's in the Nexus, isn't he? At first,
he
gets fired because he chokes Justin Roberts. And that's not long from that is a year.
Was that last year?
Yes,
that was a year.
No, maybe 2 years. Sorry, I think 2010. Yeah, I think it's 2010 because I think at this point Barrett's already moved away from a lot of his previous part of the character.
Because Punk takes over Nexus.
The new Nexus.
New
Yeah.
Nexus. They get
Yes, because he's the new
Husky
Nexus when he does the pipe bomb. He's in the new
around
Nexus
that, yeah.
then, and they forget all about it after the pipe bomb. I love the Nexus, but again, another podcast for another time. Oh. What was his finisher? That was, wasn't it? Yeah,
No,
but he's about to. Yeah, but that was his finisher at some point. I think before this.
Yeah.
They didn't even call it, so maybe not. Maybe it's after this. Bullhammer.
Oi!
Kofi's out. Future world champion says JBL, and it never ever happens.
Nope.
Very sad. Not just as a Brit, but just as a wrestling fan.
I would have loved to have seen him face off against like the likes of Sheamus and Drew and of the era now.
Oh yeah, he should still be in it. Yeah, I don't know. I say, I think he could still go.
Didn't we have him in a League of Nations?
Yeah, him, Rusev, and Cesaro.
Him, Rusev, Sheamus. No,
I don't think Sheamus was there. I think it was Cesaro. There was that one in the game that was basically like that, but it was Sheamus, Drew, and Wade. But in real life, it was Rusev, Cesaro,
Del
Wade.
Rio?
Yeah, Del Rio, yeah. Because it didn't last long either. I think
sure it was
WrestleMania.
Are you sure Sheamus wasn't in it? Because he won when he beat Roman.
I don't know, maybe. What were they called? League of Nations?
League of Nations.
You can't search that because that's the whole thing. WWE.
I've got League of Nations, WWE.
There was WWE 1 and WWE 2 and then WWE.
Sheamus, Barrett, Rusev, Del Rio.
Okay, yeah. Oh, so who did I say was in it that's not in it then?
Oh,
because I said Rusev, Del Rio, Barrett. You said Sheamus.
Cesaro.
I think I said Cesaro won in it.
Oh, Cesaro would have fit.
Yeah, because I remember exactly looking at a picture of all four of them together. That just reminds me. Yeah, April 2016. Like I said, going into Mania, then nothing happens.
Yeah, disbanded 28th
Flying
April 2016.
Goat. I forgot about that from Daniel Bryan. Of course, this is all before Daniel Bryan's mega rise. People behind him massively here. This is a big part of it. Don't get me wrong, but
was it Yes or Mania?
Yes or Mania, mate. So again, this is such a strange time, though. It's such a transitional period.
I mean, this is. I think this is another pod again in itself. But what do you think had more legs on the build to Mania, the Yes movement or Kofi Mania?
The Yes movement.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, it's not a pod, mate. I tell you right now, done. Yes,
I think that's.
Yes movement. 100%. Yes movement was one of the biggest things that happened in WWE in the last 15 years.
I guess.
Kofi Mania was great.
Was huge.
It was, but nowhere near as big as Yes. It was copying the Yes movement. It was piggybacking off of what that was. Yeah, 100%. 100%. As much as I love Kofi Mania. Oh, there we go. Daniel Bryan's out.
Wow.
And again,
I forgot he done the armbar.
It was such a great moment to see Kofi. Again, I was there in person. See Kofi win the title. Kofi Mania is one of my. I think I did. It was one of my favorite moments as a wrestling fan. It was like you had to be there, experience it, witness the moment and stuff like that. It was a moment in time. You know, if you become a wrestling fan after it, you look back, you missed something big. You know what I mean? It was massive, but it weren't Yes or Mania, Daniel. It wasn't that. That was to me one of the biggest things happened in wrestling in the last 15 years. Because he's one of the biggest stars. You know, Kofi was like finally this guy got it.
Yeah.
Finally, someone of that kind of ilk got it, you know, that kind of upper mid card. They made it. He's in a team, but he still did a solo achievement. You know, it was so big. You know, the African American side to it as well. You know, there's so much to it. That was great. But if you look at just purely a monumental moment in WWE, the Daniel Bryan thing is way bigger. And of course, he's on both sides of that. He's the opponent for Kofi, but yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. I like Bryan in that role, the Planet's champion, and Rowan with him.
Playing off of that stuff,
strange.
Yeah. Gave Rowan something to do before he had a spider and got fired.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the spider. Oh, how strange. That was so strange. And then he walked around, before that, he walked around with a balloon, didn't he? And he'd just pop it. Rowan was just lost. They had all these weird ideas for him, and then nothing worked. Other than the Bludgeon Brothers was fantastic.
It was good if it weren't them, I always felt. Because I felt like they were better as Harper and Rowan. But I liked it because they were together again. But it was like pretending they weren't who they used to be annoyed me. But then they kind of touched it every now and then. So, but anyway, go on.
I think if they'd have kept them as Harper and Rowan, but they associated their name as the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yeah.
You know.
That's their name, but and they've changed their gear. That's fine. But yeah, they acted like they weren't the same people at first, which annoyed me. I was going to say, back to the match though, we got a hot tag here from Miz going after Wade Barrett, who also got a hot tag, but didn't succeed in it. We had a great moment just then of Ziggler flying in the air, which he does a lot, and they usually like to slow-mo that as well. When they push him up, and he just comes floating down. Miz's babyface here, as I mentioned, but on the poster, it doesn't look like he is.
Oh!
You'd imagine this was a random turn.
It's weird seeing Miz get a hot tag. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah. Setting up for the Skull Crusher finale. Barrett gets out of it. Oh, and a nice kick to the chest.
Oh, yeah.
Or to the belly, buddy. Pump head or slam. Yeah, that was his finisher for a bit, yeah. Oh, nice reversal into the Skull Crusher finale. 1, 2, and that's it. Barrett's gone. See, this matchup right here, Rob, between the two of these guys is, for me, 2011. Because that must have been when Del Rio won the title, actually. Sorry, won the Royal Rumble. Because Miz had won the title. Oof, lovely German suplex.
Oh, nice. Nice bridge.
Great bridge, yeah. Saying that from JBL, the former Greco-Roman Pan-American champion. I used to love, especially when JBL first came into commentary, his kind of acknowledgement of other companies, of the UFC, of American amateur wrestling and stuff like that. I love that. It gave legitimacy to what we were seeing. In a time that was the PG was so kind of crazy. The best we could do was build up with that. And you got to think that was great. Oh, wow. Miz is out. Right. So, quickly commenting on that. Miz jumps up to the corner, tries to do his flying clothesline in the corner. Del Rio moves, kick to the back of the head, pulls him down, gets the free. But yeah, I was going to say, at this very point in time, JBL mentioned all this stuff. The UFC, maybe a few years before this, to be fair, the UFC is massive.
Yeah.
And they are building off of Vincent McMahon's kind of promotional genius in the way he did stuff. And yet the WWE have fallen behind to the company that are copying them, but doing a legit sport. And the fact that WWE never capitalized on that much was a crime, in my opinion. When the UFC was massive and they never really kind of built off of that. It's crazy.
Oi! That kick.
1, 2.
Thing is, I can't remember the build-up for what this is. Like, why is it Foley?
Yeah, they haven't explained it either, have they? There's no promo video. Like, Foley in the back was just saying, oh, whatever. You're my team. Wow. Cole hasn't done that in a while. List off the places that they're live. That used to happen every single pay-per-view. Like, random countries just to be like, we're big, we're here, we're there, we're there. He ain't done that in ages. You got to imagine that's a proper Vince thing, isn't it? Say, I'd say,
Yeah.
I'd mate, if I was in all those countries, I'd make sure you knew about it.
Is this Del Rio's first run?
Yeah,
it is, isn't it? Because he comes back and he does with Seb Coulter, doesn't he?
Yeah. This is the first run.
So he's been, gone again. Is it up to now?
3 times? What? 3 times? Is it?
Right, he's been gone. No, he came back. He's only been twice, hasn't he?
Yeah,
so he's been and gone, and come back, and then went again.
Yeah. And
Did
this
he
is
open
his first run. That was a great drop kick from Randy.
That was a
Orton.
fantastic drop kick. He answered the was it the John Cena's United States Open Challenge?
Is that how they brought him back? I don't even remember.
Yeah. I love
Okay,
Randy
guys.
like this.
It's just like Cena, though, isn't it? It's just, you know what's coming. I guess that's the point. But
yeah, but it's beautiful. That
Rodriguez arguing with Cena. Cena, there we go. Randy Orton even. Oh, kick to the back. Of the head. Oh, there we go. Foley versus Rodriguez. There we go.
He's going to put out Mr. Socko, right? Oh.
All right, that makes sense, you know. In story, I get that. I think that's a good little spot. Even if the rest of it doesn't make sense. Like, why he's there doesn't make sense, but while you're there, do that.
Do you reckon the person still got that sock?
Oh, did he throw it to the outside?
Yeah.
The fan? Yeah. Dropkick accidental to his body there. Orton just throws him into the post. Imagine how fun it would have been in this period to work with Dolph Ziggler if he was a wrestler.
Dude, that guy could sell like a champ. An absolute champ.
Oh, lovely RKO there.
Fantastic RKO.
That's got to be it for Del Rio.
1, 2.
1-on-1. Randy Orton versus Dolphy.
Just hanging there like just a bath towel.
Hey, what's interesting is that this isn't brand split as well. So
because at that point it was just
Raw. Do you remember when Super Show thing?
Yeah, I think maybe just.
Or that might be just before this. Yeah, and so the brand split is gone.
Yeah, it's going to that place.
Holds onto the rope, beautiful. I love that as a reversal for the RKO. Oh, the zigzag. 1, 2. Oh, that should have been it.
I feel Dolph is that person that was just this close every single time, and it just couldn't get that brass ring or whatever it is they wanted. You know, like you know, it looks like an absolute like star in this match. Then the one when they done it with Sting, and he was the last.
That's 2 years later. Yeah.
You know, he's the money in the bank, and it's just every time he was at that pinnacle of like, he's going to be that guy.
How mad is that? Hold on, saying that like this is 2012, and the Sting thing is either 2014 or 15. I can't remember, but either way, 2 or 3 years later, and at that point, I feel like he'd run his course, and I couldn't believe he was almost getting a new kind of found excitement. And that's 2 or 3 years later. Let alone 2 or 3 years after that, 2017, which I think is when he's with Bobby Roode, and then like nothing's happened since. I know the argument back in the day was always like he should leave and do something else, but that space wasn't really there. TNA weren't ever really that, especially in Dolph's period.
Yeah.
You've kind of missed that already. AEW wasn't quite there, you know. And now people are just like, well, fine, earn your money, mate. But if AEW existed at this point, not at this point because he wins it, let's be fair. A year earlier or 2 years after this, he'd be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Or he should have been at least.
I just think like if he went, he's going to go for the punt.
The punt, yeah. Because even if they pulled the trigger in too late, as fun as the cash in was, it was not too. I don't know, too late. But it was.
I think the cash in was good.
Yeah, it was great, but it took longer than he should have been champ 2 years before, or a year before. Lovely super kick there. What a win, mate! Fantastic.
There's something really pleasing about a super kick, and as you hit it, you just fall onto your opponent.
Foley looking disappointed. I wish I remembered that. That was great. But then again, this is what helps you build that hype towards him being a superstar who needs to win the title against Del Rio, who ironically is on his team at this point. So again, things completely change in so many ways in just 4 months. But oh man,
that's something I appreciate as well with Dolph. When he does a pin to really make it like get that leverage, he hooks the leg over.
Yeah.
So he's like, if you try and kick out, holds him over. It's great.
It is. I don't want to say sad, but like Dolph here is like, to coin a Brock Lesnar term, the next big thing, and it starts that way. But what's this an ad for? The Walking Dead or something like that. WWE Studios, classic film that none of us remember. 10 years on.
I think we should do a watch along to whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is on a Ready Noise Screen One channel. What in the? What is this?
What is this?
Fight or die. Is that name of the day? It's called The Day. It's a new day. Yes, it is.
Why's he got a Sean Spears haircut?
Oh, straight to Blu-ray and digital, of course.
Was there anyone, a wrestler in that?
Nah, for once. This is when they start moving away from that. Some funky lights on that monument there. What is that? That's massive.
I don't know. Is that the prep for Christmas?
Must be. It's November.
Yeah. I love Christmas lights. That prep and.
Yeah, me too, mate. We're on the road to Christmas mania at the moment.
Shouldn't it be Santa Mania?
Santa Mania's running wild. They're really playing up the Rock.
Yeah, it's the Rock as Hobbs and Shaw, isn't it? That's Hobbs.
Oh, I guess. I've never seen it, but.
Oh, of course.
That's not his own gear, yeah. So they're really playing up the Rock as if the Rock might show up. Which is good because when he does show up, even though at the time people would have been, oh, here we go. Tout. Looks like he's from 2002 rather than 2012 at this point.
Recording from a toaster.
Man, shout out to these guys that try to make Tout work as well. I wonder if they've got the same ats on Twitter. We can track them down. It's like Tout can't even decide what website it is. Have you noticed how many times we've changed already the format?
It sounds like that is us when we try and do the predictions.
I don't like that. See, I don't like. I get the allegiance if you're a heel. I hated King going for the baby faces, and I hated him being such a suck up that he does John Cena's pose. Like, come on, mate. Like JR never did that. Do you know what I mean? When he was the kind of straight man who was like slightly leaning to the baby face because he has morals. Like he weren't. Anyway, promo package here. I'd love to watch it, Rob, but I got to run to the toilet again. So, gonna leave you in just a second. Gonna put up the stream again. Let's see if your mic still works though this time.
Is it working?
Keep talking.
Yeah, I hope it's working.
There we go. See you in a sec. I stayed around to see if you're still. Was you talking there, Rob?
Yeah. No.
Oh, good. Well, that doesn't help because I thought your mic had broke again.
No,
see you later, Rob. Carry on talking.
All right.
Are you talking, Rob? What's going on? Are you talking or not?
No, I ain't talking. I was going to do the count out in like the next 30 seconds. Do you need me to talk while you're gone out?
I just want to know for sure that when I leave, you're still talking. Not because I don't think you're talking, but I want to know the mic was. See you later.
In a bit. It's just disappearing and coming back and disappearing.
All right, Rob, just to let you know,
like
you were talking. I heard you that time.
Good.
Perfect. See you in a bit.
In a bit. Cool. Oh my day! I forgot about the Brad Maddox stuff. That was a moment. That was a strange bit of the low blow from Brad Maddox. So I'm gonna give you the countdown because I did miss it as I was talking to Scott. We're at 2 hours and 15 minutes and 40 seconds. But I'll let you know when we get to hit the 16. 2 hours and 16. Uh, 10 seconds. Obviously, it's up on the screen. So we're at 2 hours and 16 minutes now. So John Cena stepped aside so Ryback can have the opportunity in the match. So now Cena's been put in a match as well. Is that what they're saying? So obviously this is the match where we get the all important debut of the Shield. As I said, I thought it wasn't this match and it was the Survivor Series match, but yeah, it's got to be this one. Yeah, shit. And Cena's out first. Come to think of it, I think I had this shirt as well, you know? No, this is 10 years of Cena.
You bloody nerd.
What?
Right. I said, of course you had this shirt, you nerd. I've got to say, I heard some things as I went away. I heard the Brad Maddox thing, number one I went away, which I actually was a fan of Maddox. I hope that was going to work out, but didn't quite happen. He also goes on to be a little bit flirting with the Shield, of course. Let's be honest, that's what's happening tonight. And he has this really funny promo where he says, "Justice awaits you." And me and Tom of the Talking Beans fame used to do impressions of that because he sounds like he's trying to do an impression of Bane. It's really weird. And of course, that's not long out that film at the time, Dark Knight Rises. And then I heard you say about, well, I saw Cena come out, and then I heard you say he had a shirt. I got to say, Rob, this is at the time that I really disliked Cena. Now he's on his way towards me being like, you know what, legend, fine, maybe I'm looking at it weird. But this is a interesting thing to me to watch back because this is a period again that I really was against Cena, wasn't a fan at all. You look at the Ryback stuff, you look at the Wade Barrett stuff, and even the Punk stuff to a degree. But that's what starts to switch it for me is the way that he clearly worked with Punk in that Summer of Punk and that Money in the Bank thing. So that is what tried to kind of sort of turn my thing about Cena. But as a character and as a person, well, I never have anything against him as a person, of course, but I don't really know him. So this is on my way. Would not have been like praising Cena at this point. Now I am, but back then, nah. If this was 2008, 2006 to 2010 are the times that I'm most anti-Cena. because it is insane how much they're pushing him. This time, at this point, it's like, it's just what they do. It's just what they do, you know. So I can't believe you wore his shirt, you dirtbag.
Do you know what I used to be? So when I went to shows, I'd always get, for some reason, I always got a Cena shirt, and then I'd always get like another one. I just felt like when you got
a shirt to get.
Yeah, there was always and
every time you went, new
100%, 100%, and it was nice to get, because I think looking back now, you can go, oh, that was 2012 Cena shirt. This was the 2000. So I have like a small collection of Cena shirts from when I went to the shows, and then I don't know. I think I stopped going to live shows for a little while, and then I think I started building I've started a collection anyway, but I think since we started doing the podcast and stuff, and my wife got into wrestling, we kind of have a lot more wrestling shirts.
Right.
But
I think that's a good point, though. I mean, but at the same time, as much as I didn't expect it to be this way or see this side of it, but you were kind of like, even if you're not a massive Cena fan at the time, like, you are literally the thing that they are holding on to, that someone will buy that new Cena shirt, you know, and you're like, there's a collection now, and I can see it looking back now. Like, I can see that. That kind of logic. Here we go, Ryback. A funny entrance where it makes the firework noise, but there is no firework. Phoebe Moore, what an entrance. Wake up. Oh, I thought Ryback was amazing. I really did. I thought he should have won the title.
Do you know what the thing is? He looked great. I'm not against that. Promos weren't too bad. But after all this Punk stuff happened, there was nothing.
Well, I think there was a year. I thought he should have won the Rumble, which I think might be 2013 then.
It went to that thing
earlier this year. It would have been after this.
It went to that thing with Heyman that he doesn't like bullies, and he couldn't say the word bully properly.
Yeah, and there's that whole thing about him doing his like self-help stuff, which I got in some ways, but it was kind of like it already run its course then, the Ryback thing. So, but yeah, people do underestimate just how popular he was. I've got to say, So it's a very interesting time in WWE to see the three of these together here. But yeah, going back to Cena, I think we need to get you sticking up all your Cena shirts, mate. We need to see your collection.
I might have to. Obviously, I've got some.
Cena's my favorite wrestler in 2004, and I never had a shirt of him then, so I was a big fan. Nah.
It'd be interesting to go through my wrestling shirt collection.
Let's do it, yeah.
I'm just trying to think of what I've got on top of my head. A couple of Colt Cabana ones.
Wow,
CM Punk ones.
Oh, nice, man. Where am I on the pod more?
Well, I've got to represent the, the...
Oh, of course. I haven't got that many wrestling shirts at all.
What's funny is I thought my collection was big. My wife also has a big collection. And she's only been watching it since lockdown, like since COVID.
Okay. Big fan already. Saying that, I haven't got much of a collection. Look, underneath here, I'm wearing a SmackDown 10th anniversary shirt that I got from a 10th anniversary screening at Westfield Shepherd's Bush in 2009 would have been, and there was a cinema. I think it was a Cineworld.
Hang on. And don't take this offensively. Yeah. How the heck are you the same size?
It was a big shirt then. I've just grown into it.
Some guys get a bit fatter. Some guys get a bit
yeah, but it was still quite a big shirt. I think it might be a large. I'm not sure. I can't tell. I usually would wear a medium anyway. No matter how I'm trying to sneak into it or not. That is my main size. That's a large. It's a large. And it was, freebie. So I went to this screening for the 10th anniversary, and they just showed parts of the DVD basically, and it was on a screen that I think was advertised as 4 double-decker bosses. It was massive. The whole room was a screen. It was in Cineworld. I don't know if it's still. I think it was Cineworld. One of the cinemas. I don't know if it's still there. And it was presented by Josh Matthews and a few WWE wrestlers. I can't remember who now, but I think Kofi might have been there actually.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up. But yeah, got this shirt on that day. I think it's the first time I ever went to a Westfield because it was new. We hadn't got one in East London yet. There was no Stratford one.
That was a good feud. Sorry, that was a good feud. Cena versus JBL.
The one he's talking about. Yeah. Here we go. I've just found an article talking about it. Let me find it now. Hold on. Westfield Cinema, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it was a condensed version. Yeah, someone's giving a review of it, basically.
Oh.
There's Q&A with Santina Morella, Gail Kim, Mickey James, and John Morrison. That was it. Yeah.
Damn. That must have been great seeing. Was that Santina Morella in like character?
Yeah, it was in character.
Was he in his comedy character at that point?
Like yeah, really
that must
funny.
Have been fun.
That was the best part of it. Oh yeah, this review says you got an autograph. I got mine somewhere actually. I can't even remember who signed mine. But yeah, there you go.
Damn.
So I say you got many wrestling shirts. A lot of them are kind of comp shirts.
Yeah. So they all count.
Especially recently doing all the press events and stuff like that. But hey, exactly, they all count. WWE shirts, like my first official one, I said it on 2002 stream, I think it was, how I got one from Blackpool, a fake one with The Rock on it. But my first official one, I think, might have been a Triple H one from 2004-5.
Right.
The one with a skull and a cross.
Oh, okay. I think mine was, I had an Austin one, but I wasn't a big fan of Austin at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I got a knockoff DX top, kind of like what you were talking about.
Yeah.
That and a Hardy Boys one.
I just realized that conversation I just mentioned wasn't on air; it was off air. But basically, I got a fake Rock shirt.
Was it off? Was it not?
It was off air. It was a screen printed thing down Blackpool on the beach. But anyway,
yeah,
it weren't on air. That conversation.
It wasn't.
Anyway, go on. You got a DX one similar, yeah?
Oh
yeah, I forgot we're watching wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh, Cena going for the pin. Is this?
I feel like this is just us talking and wrestling's in the background.
Yeah. It's not elimination, is it?
Oh, no, no, I don't think so. I'm trying to think, what was the first one I got? I really can't remember. Maybe it was a Triple H top. I was a big fan of Triple H. Triple H or The Rock.
I never had an official Rock top, just a fake one in 2000. I had a fake Triple H hat that I got a show at from York Hall as well. What else did I have? It was an all-star show, but they were selling knockoff WWE match.
I had a Eddie Guerrero I'm Your Puppy shop.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't know what that is. I had an Eddie Guerrero armband as well.
What, the EG one?
Yeah.
I had the DX. I think I mentioned it on the pod before. I had a DX jersey that was given to me by someone else, but I don't know what happened to it.
I want to buy one. I remember I sent you a link. I think it was the last time we done a watch along. We were talking about that.
Yeah.
And I found them. Obviously, they aren't official, but that was so I remember wanting a DX shirt, and the one I got wasn't the one I asked for. I was like, I've got a DX top, but I wanted the jersey, like an ice hockey NFL kind of jersey on it.
Yeah. Saying that, the Jericho ice hockey shirt was great as well.
That was lovely.
The Rock had a few American football shirts that are cool.
Shane McMahon, he had a couple of baseball ones.
Baseball ones, yeah. I used to want them, yeah. All right, so Punk now flying off top rope with a clothesline to Ryback. See, you're right. I think Cole is kind of heel because JR. King has just said he's a slime bag, and Cole has just said, "I'd love for him to hear you say that sort of thing." So. Going back to the whole Ryback thing, especially with Punk, because it would have been in this period. If you remember the Punk podcast, I think it was the one they did with Colt Cabana that ended up causing all that controversy. He's talking rubbish about Ryback the whole time. Well, for a lot of it feels.
And then he come back for a Q&A. Everyone had questions. They didn't even get to the Q&A because Punk had more stuff to say. That was great. I enjoyed them pods.
Yeah. There you go. Feed me more with a shoulder. See, as much as this is also cheesy, and I don't like Drew McIntyre's one, I don't mind this one. The 3-2-1 is... I like this one. I think it's better. Because it's like the stomp. HBK, she not the band. Do you know what I mean?
The thing is, I get what you're saying. But even that they do the meat hook clothesline, and it's this thing. It's just a running clothesline. Like, he should have done something that made it more special. Even if it was...
saying that. Yeah, that clothesline was pretty weak.
Like this STF.
Yeah. This should be called a CBA, as in I can't be asked. Because that's what it looks like when Cena does it, not the STF. I wonder what Ryback was told at this point, you know. At some point, we're going to give you the belt or what?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think what year it was that I wanted Ryback to win the Rumble. Or I thought he would. I remember doing a vote. I was around Tom's actually, and Justin was with us, and we did this whole. I think it was 2013 saying that. So it must have been lovely hours out there from Punk. Let me see if I can find, because I remember posting a picture about it. About not about Ryback, but about the sweets that we were eating that night. Come on.
That's a huge elbow drop, though.
Yeah, kind of what do you call it as well? Not unconventional. The way he's landing, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So again, if anyone's lost their sync on demand or join us late live, we are watching Survivor Series 2012. We're in between the triple threat match. Oh, here we go. Ryback taking over, smashing his chest between Ryback, John Cena, and CM Punk, the champion. Of course, if you know what happens at the 2012 Survivor Series, you'll know that something big is about to go down. There we go. It was 2013 Rumble, Rob, that I thought that Ryback was going to win. So I think I'd seen this. I thought, oh, he's not a champion at the end of it. Spoiler alert.
You fantasy booked?
I fantasy booked. I thought he'd be winning the Rumble, but he didn't. And that was pretty much the end of it for Ryback, unfortunately. I think he had an opening match at like a Mania with Sin Cara.
I mean,
it was a good match though. US title, I think it was. Ryback. Let me search that up.
Joe was when he got to that point where he was coming out with a weight belt and then taking it off. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just felt like at one point Ryback was kind of going to be on top of the world, and then all of a sudden he was at the bottom of the card. Like,
so it was Kalisto, of course.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah. That was a good match though. Well, here we go. Cena and Punk working together to take out Ryback. Like you say, looks like it's going to be a big threat at this point. Looks like it's going to be top of the cards, but it doesn't quite go that way. Beautiful suplex, got to say.
Mm-hmm. I miss the old tables, you know. You know, like if you go through it, but it'd proper dent, it wouldn't explode. It'd just dent.
Yeah. I mean, look at that. The side still stood up. So the Spanish announce table still stood.
Yeah, that's a rarity, isn't it?
It's strange seeing it there compared to today, but now it's there all the way through. You know, there it's all the way through as well. It's quite a thing.
What show did we watch where Raw had their table at ringside? No, SmackDown had their table at ringside, and Raw had theirs at the top of the entrance.
Oh, SummerSlam 2002. I think it was on the Survivor Series one as well. I think it started that way.
Was it that?
Yeah, it was that period where they tried to make it feel different, didn't they?
Yeah.
See what I mean? I'm doing that 10 years ago. If I would have watched myself 10 years from then, I would have been like, Scott, what are you doing?
Could have called yourself a mark. The GTS.
GTS. 1, 2. Oh, not quite.
I love a false finish.
Cheers. They're so high pitch. Like, I know this. Maybe it's because it's not a big. Like, if this was in Chicago or New York, London, Toronto, maybe it'd be different.
It's crazy because let's put it this way: if Cena had a match now, and he got put through and it was for a title.
Oof. So I hate this about Cena. That is Super Cena. Oh, the worst example. Just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Go on. Cena was.
So if Cena was in this position and he was Cena from now, like Legacy Cena, and then someone had done their finisher, and then he kicked out, the crowd would be rumbling.
Yeah,
like crazy. It's crazy to think in 10 years' time, he's got a legacy career. Like,
I like that legacy. That's it. That's the way I see Cena now.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of that is based on what he did in this time that I didn't enjoy watching him or enjoy watching him win.
Yeah, but don't forget, before this, we've had Cena's run with the Nexus. It had to be Wade Barrett's,
which was terrible
side piece. Side piece, not the right word. Well, waiter, or should we say, or is Alfred. But yeah, we're so Cena's gone through a lot, and obviously this is still when he was current. Like, it was a regular on the Raw.
Yeah. He's just gone for a lot, mate. He's killed a lot. Like, he's ruined a lot. He's been the on-screen character that has ruined the thing that was supposed to do well in a lot of people's eyes. Whether or not it's him politicking or whatever, because as you mentioned earlier on, that story about him and Brodus Clay, you think, well, that's not the same kind of thing that everyone imagines it is. But Wade Barrett should have beaten for the title.
Yeah.
Just. All right, STF in the middle of the ring. Where's Ryback? He's still out through the table, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
But that ain't gonna last because
no. I hate that meat hook clothesline.
I get what you mean. The clothesline itself could have been more.
I don't like a discus clothesline. Why are you turning your back on the guy?
Give yourself momentum, innit? But yeah, it depends what it's like as an artist. If you focus more on the spin or on the fact that you need to turn around, you're missing the point. If you focus on that the spin gives you leverage, it will look better. But people sometimes forget what the move is that they're doing, where the origin of the actual move comes from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it's an MMA origin or something like that, a lot of times it's about pulling off the execution of how the move looks, rather than focusing on what the move legitimately would be in a fight if you did it.
Yeah, it's
anyway, here we go.
Here we go.
Okay. 3 guys that we aren't sure who they are unless you've been watching NXT. What does the commentary say for this?
I'm so glad they didn't come out with their riot shields. Because that was pitched.
Yeah, it was. Right. Okay, so they've gone straight after Ryback. That's what I remember. They put him through the table.
That guy there looks like a future champion.
They all do, to be fair,
They
mate.
do, yeah.
Right, so we got Roman Reigns, as we don't know him at the time. I remember when I watched this, I thought it was Leo Kruger.
Oh, yeah.
Because I knew the other two were. I knew who Ambrose was and Rollins was. There we go. They mentioned NXT. We get the first ever Shield bomb. Ryback is up on Reigns' shoulders. And there we go. The Spanish announce table couldn't last that long.
That's a vintage Dean Ambrose look.
Yeah, of course. And again, here we go. Punk in the middle of the ring. Heyman's face is shocked. Cena's in the middle of the ring. Laid out flat. Punk is crawling over. 2, 3, and that's it. It's over. Heyman celebrates big, and then straight away, the Shield, as we don't even know them as just yet. We know their names. Of course, Michael Cole explained who they were.
Yep.
Punk saying to himself, wow, can't stop smiling. Heyman gives him the title. Ryback ain't got a clue what's going on. He's laying on the table there still.
What's great is the Shield waiting around in case Cena kicked out was like, if you kick out, we're coming after you.
Lovely. Next. Yeah, good point. So they made a point about the security equipment as well, which is an interesting point because I was thinking about this when I knew we were doing this stream. I was thinking, you know what? If you describe to me the Shield, really you should be saying, oh, there were these guys that thought they were an independent police force.
Yeah.
Which is not how I picture any of those guys or even the group. You know, it makes sense, the name, the walkie-talkie, you know, and all that kind of stuff, but Sierra Hotel and all that, you know. But that's not the way we see it because, you know, I think we think of them as individual characters. We think of them with a mask. They think about the stuff that comes after it as well. But realistically, that's what they were as a character. You know, the character-wise, that's what they were. And it's strange to think that. They were a fake police force, which doesn't sound as cool as the Shield actually were. And in this clip here, they're wearing these kind of original, and you mentioned it earlier, of course, the thing about them, you know, potentially coming out with actual riot shields, which have been cheesy as heck. But even here, like in these weird kind of almost turtleneck things, you know, they end up really making the gear their own. Again, they have those cool face masks before they were a thing. And,
if I remember,
they
were told that this is what they were working, this is what they were wearing, but they didn't really have a plan. They just knew that they were coming out, and I think they were just left backstage, and it was like, you're going to be coming out, appearing at this point, and this is what's happening, and they were just left. And I think Vince just said, you're wearing this, this, and this, and I think they pitched. If I remember from a podcast, they pitched them to wear the riot shields, but then they said they had trouble getting around with them, so they ditched them. But they could have had the riot shield. It had different.
And the way they jump in as well, they jump straight in the ring. So how could they have worn them anyway? Unless I don't know. Way to, and it would have been ridiculous. Yeah, you know, it's weird that this worked. Do you know what I mean? Like, again, even you talk about the character of them being weird fake police. Like, they're a weird fake SWAT team, and it worked. They are, without a doubt, we're 10 years on now. We're celebrating 10 years since the kind of debut of the Shield, and it is arguably one of the most important days in wrestling history, in modern history. One of the most important factions, stables of all time. Their return, even 5 or 6 years later, is kind of put out there as such a massive thing. And again, I absolutely love the Shield. For me, the Shield is the kind of turning point we talk about, you know, been doing this kind of stream of Survivor Series 2012. This is the turning point when you start to really differentiate the periods in wrestling. When the Shield come into it, the Wyatt family and people like that, it feels different. It's an actual era. And it's great for that. But at the same time, what a weird way to bring them in. They get brought in as CM Punk's henchmen, and they probably jump on the whole justice thing. They jump on that kind of, you know, they quite quickly move him away from CM Punk, if you remember as well. So this should have been a CM Punk stable by the looks of it, but it never ever was.
So from what I remember, I think this is from Punk's. I think this was Punk talking about it. He originally pitched Ambrose, Seth, and I'm gonna say Chris Hero. I'm probably wrong.
I think it might have been, yeah.
And then they said no, and they wanted Roman. Obviously, Liaki.
That's
that point.
That's a trend that continues for the next 10 years. But to be fair to Roman, the last few have been really good. But hey, WWE wanted Roman. That's all we need to know.
All right. So obviously that was pitched, and then I think originally the idea was that the way they portrayed it was the Shield was, I think, a faction associated with Punk, like there was a connection with Punk, but obviously it wasn't a Punk stable. I think the original idea would have been to Punk to take him under his wing and
be the leader. Yeah.
But I think the Shield after that, they had such an impact. They didn't really need him
away. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at what was the arena that they were at? I'm just trying to see if there is something.
At this show?
Yeah.
It's in Indianapolis. I don't know what the arena is, but even that, you think about the first 2 years, again, they become so much of their own character, their own thing, their own style. It progresses quite fast from what I remember. But maybe that's rose tinted glasses and stuff like that. But you're right. CM Punk was the leader. And at the end of the show, I do remember thinking Punk is going to be, he's got a new stable. That's cool because the new Nexus just died. We mentioned it earlier on in the stream. New Nexus died as soon as he had his kind of pipe bomb, and that was it. New Nexus was gone. I was like, cool, Punk's going to be head of a stable. And it seemed like that was actually the plan. But then, like you say, it moved away from that maybe because they were doing so well on their own. They didn't need Punk. They tried to be very much, I remember early on, they tried to save it from the way I remember it was like, we have Justice. And it weren't Justice because they were heels. The whole point was it was the reverse to what the fans was Justice. But we're going to take out people that we think, when it was like, no, you were Punk. And they tried to differentiate themselves from Punk, moving themselves away by going, no, we're just Justice fight. You're like, we want to fight for people and we want to solve the injustice in the WWE. That's how they kind of tried to set it, which was a clever way to move away from it. But it is strange when you think about one of the greatest stables in WWE history that they had a connection to, one of the greatest superstars, whether or not, last year has changed your opinion on Punk or whether or not your time with, in hindsight, changed on Punk or anything like that. The fact is Punk had a massive, influence and time at the top of the wrestling world, whether in WWE or AEW, and he's a big superstar. And the point is, he was going to be the head of this stable. But no one ever looks at, like, if you look at DX, you go, well, technically, Rick Rude was in DX, But no one ever looks back on this and goes, technically, Punk was in the Shield. Like, that was done early on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Really weird.
I know what you mean.
Oh, I think I'm losing you there, Rob.
20 months. So obviously, it's the 2 years they break up. Am I back?
There we go.
Am I good?
Yeah, we're good.
There we go. Yeah, so I'm just looking. The Shield were only together. On the initial first run, the Shield were together for 20 months.
Wow. Okay, so less than 2 years. So what, they break up in January 2014?
2014, because
is that when Seth turns?
Let me have a look. June. They broke up in
you're cutting out a lot.
Yeah. So that's when Seth hits him with the chair. That's the plan B against Evolution, which was at that point it was just Batista, Randy, and Triple H. Yeah. So I mean, we talk about how much of a dominance that the Shield were. It feels like they were together for a long time before they broke up. Because it doesn't feel like just say 2 years. It doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Do you know what I mean? But then, I mean, the fuse they had that. So obviously we had this stuff with Punk building up. Then they had, at one point, do you remember the Shield they had an undefeated streak. They weren't beaten. I
remember that time when they arrived at the O2 on a helicopter, and they made Undertaker work a SmackDown. That's how over they were.
Yeah.
The Undertaker
I was
worked
there
a
for that.
SmackDown. Was you really? Wow.
Yeah, I was there for that.
Mate, that was so cool as well.
So obviously there was that. Trying to think what else happened in there. I'm trying to think of their first run. Obviously, a lot happened in their second bit with
tag
Roman.
champs,
tag champs, Dean Ambrose was the US champ.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
Early on, like really early on, Punk was gone from this, So I feel like, again, like you say, they brought him in and didn't quite know what they're doing, and they just went, it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be a Punk thing after all. We're losing Rob again. I think you're back.
I'm back. Yeah. I have no idea. 1 minute I'm fine, and the next minute I just kind of freeze. But yeah, as you said, I don't think they really did know what they were doing with him because they weren't a heel group. I guess they were heel to start with. Then when they started doing their stuff, they were kind of like the real version of Retribution without the gimmicky crap. And then kind of built on from that. And I remember their face turn was when the Authority was telling them what to do. Or Kane at that time was Corporate Kane. And he was telling them to attack Lawler. Then they turned around and attacked Kane. And that was when the crowd were behind them. They were red hot.
Yeah.
And that was their official face turn. And then a little while later, obviously, we got the famous Seth Rollins moment. But yeah, I think the thing to take away from this is the Shield's legacy.
Well, that's it. I mean, like you said, a lot of things happened within the first 20 months. They break up, they turn face, they win titles, they break up, they go and start winning titles on their own. Of course, the heist of the century and all that stuff with Seth Rollins. Dean becomes champion. Reigns, becomes champion as well. And then they end up getting back together in 2018.
But that's
2019. That's a very short run. And you think about it. So Dean leaves in 2019, right?
Yeah.
John Moxley, as we know him now again. That is less than 7 years. And within those 7 years, they're probably together for 3 push. 2.5.
I would say Roman's been more with the bloodline for this run than he has with the Shield.
Do you think?
Mate, it's gotta be.
Wow.
Or if not, it's coming close. Because I mean, Roman's been 800 days.
Even, at least for the first reign, like you said. It will be.
Definitely the second run of the Shield. But obviously,
the second run wasn't that long, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, but I mean, things that happened in the second run. Obviously, Dean, they won the tag titles on the night that Roman announced that he
had leukemia.
So he was relinquishing the belt.
Dean
turned that night.
Which is always a contentious thing. Like, you think, I saw that clip come up the other day and I was thinking, should that have happened? But then,
that was originally planned.
And depends who was fine with it. Was it really?
That was originally planned to happen.
I thought they'd just make called an audible because they were like,
no, they called an audible to not do it.
Oh, they tried to prevent it. Okay.
They didn't want to do it because they said, look, you don't have to do the term. We'll leave it next week.
No, I think
a little while longer.
It had such an effect. And again, and when Roman come back, like, again, this time, took him personally, of course, like, nothing against the guy at all. But in character, he become like that John Cena, to a lot of us. And it was like, same old thing. But him coming back, like, once he announced his leukemia, it was like it should for any human being. I'm not trying to say anything different here, but like, it was like, wow, this is real. Like, this is like, I was gutted. I tearing up and stuff like that. That moment with the three of them. Then they use storyline later on. He comes back. He has the thing with Drew at WrestleMania, and it's such a great moment, him coming back. Yeah. Since then, Roman has become, oh my goodness, I don't think anyone can doubt him anymore. Like, wow. But like, that doesn't mean it was right back then. It was wrong. I still think a lot of the stuff they did with Roman was wrong early on. It just means that the fans were ready this time, and it was right. And his work has excelled. It's been amazing. But yeah, that was a big part of it, of course. You know, that kind of shock and whether or not they should have used it. And for me, a big thing there as well is the fact that Dean turned. And I always felt that Dean would have turned the first time. Dean was always the wild character that
I think because
ready
Seth
to
did,
turn, it made it that much more shocking.
It was a shock. I mean, imagine how shocked it would have been if Roman had turned.
Yeah, but I guess that fear they always wanted to, and you mentioned it there, of course, where they brought him in instead of, I think it was Chris Hero. It was almost like they were always like, yeah, someday this guy's got to be it. And it was too much. They did it there, and it was like, oh, cool. And don't get me wrong, the early Roman Reigns in the Shield, I thought was cool as well. I thought it was really cool. But then he's shoved down your throats. He's too much. Eventually, and like it feels like they always had that ready for him. They were almost too giddy to push him. Do you know what I mean? He was always there. They're always ready to do it.
Yeah. It had that kind of effect of, here's our guy. We're going to put him in all the main events. No, I love Roman. I absolutely love Roman. We spoke about this in huge lengths.
Now, right? Mate.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it was like, okay, we're going to test the waters to see what you think. We already knew he was the guy that they wanted. Like, he was the next Cena, should we say, right? Or close to. So they put him in main events and don't let him win it. So they got the reaction. They put him in the main event to get what they want, but then to give us what we wanted, he wouldn't let him win. But they done it continuously, all the time. I mean, I think Roman's main evented more WrestleManias than Hulk Hogan. And think of how long Hogan's career was, and Roman's still going. Crazy, absolutely crazy. I'm not saying that he's won more, but do you know what I'm saying? Things like that, it's just, it's weird. And the thing that I see with, I can't remember at what point in Roman's career it was, when he faced Taker. I can't remember if that was before. Was that before the leukemia announcement? Yeah. So he said, "It's my yard now." 4 words.
Yeah.
Right. And he got booed.
Oh, those boos.
And then he become champ. We got all the Shield stuff. And then he said another four words that got the biggest pop of the night, which was, "I'm in remission, y'all." Yeah. Crazy to think how 4 words can absolutely turn something.
What a good point. It's just, like you say, when he come back and that, emotional even thinking about it. It was, again, you go to the real life thing, and you know, he must have hurt him. Like, he was pushed as the star, and the main thing that maybe there were times he was thinking, maybe I'm not the one to go over here. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe they are pushing me too fast because the fans ain't responding well, you know? But like, what can you do? Do you know what I mean? The machine's behind you. Like you say, it was obvious from day one they wanted to push him. And the talent was always there. It's like the Charlotte Flair thing. People moan about Charlotte Flair is that she's not one of the greatest female wrestlers of all time. She is.
Yeah.
You know, like that, when you go against her, that is wrong, just as wrong as you know, the way they've overly pushed her. There's a healthy middle spot, and I think it's always been the same with Roman Reigns. He's an incredible athlete. Oh my goodness, the way he is on the mic. I mean, today, these past 2 years is undeniable. But there was that time where it was too much and too early, too soon, too obvious. It was, but now he's got to that point, you know, and we had that, like you say, that the term with Dean Ambrose, just to take it back to that again. That was, you know, whether or not it's controversial to do it on that night. And then eventually Dean Ambrose's career in WWE kind of sadly dwindles. He goes elsewhere, becomes John Moxley again. And, good success.
A legacy for himself.
Exactly. And like, do you ever see the three of them together in the ring doing that fist bump again?
I don't know. I tell you what, though, what I would like to see, obviously this is as a fan, so I guess we all think different. Do I want to see Moxley or Ambrose, whatever you want to call him by? Yes, I'd love to see him stand alongside Seth and Roman again. But I think if they're going to do it, the only way they're going to do it is if they do the Hall of Fame. I do not think Ambrose Moxley
will ever go back. And I, looking at it right now, as much as AEW was on a massive rise and I was so behind it, I do feel like this past year has been of a step down. But at the same time, I still don't want to see Ambrose Moxley in WWE, because I do think the wounds are too sore for me for Ambrose in WWE. You know, I think
they're still too sore for Ambrose.
Yeah, and I think he's just signed an extra, extension to his contract. That I could see. That depends on the Hall of Fame, because they're running thin on people to put in, and they sometimes they put people in, like they retire 6 weeks later. It seems like there's talk of Hall of Fame already.
Yeah,
and other people that have they've been passed away 20 years and they're still not getting talked about properly enough. That's been the case for the entirety of the Hall of Fame. So it could go either way in that sense. A young kind of still able to do it Shield going in before they retire. I'm not sure, unless WWE
I think it'll
really
be when they
make
retire.
money.
That'll be
But
the
that's
next
a
time we
long
see
way
it.
away. That's a lot.
I
For all three
don't
of
see
them to
it.
retire.
The only other way is if a huge forbidden door is opened, and there is some common ground.
I could see that now, because Tony Khan has always said he's a wrestling fan. He's allowed other talent to do stuff with WWE before. He's allowed Japan and stuff like that. I think if you went to Tony Khan and said the Shield are going in the Hall of Fame, we want him there, Tony would ask for certain things, don't get me wrong, and I think he'd probably push for them to happen. But I do think that conversation could happen.
I reckon at this current time, as we're talking now, dated of us now, I think there's still a lot. With a prime example recently would be Billy Gunn not being for the DX reunion, right? There's still a lot, but
but he was in that. It was in the Hall of Fame where they did mention AEW. It was newer then.
Yeah, but it's different now. That's the thing, and I think there's a lot with AEW. I think they need to get, if they stop this pettiness of WWE versus this and NXT versus it, if they can get past that stuff, and wrestling's just wrestling, and wear marks for all of it. When they get to that stage, we can say, I reckon we could see a Shield reunion of sorts. But until that for a bit, I mean, Nakamura's doing something in January, right? Yeah. Or is it the Muta? The match against
it wouldn't go that far. I think you're right. It'd be more of a Hall of Fame thing.
But I think if we're gonna get something, and it's not gonna be them competing in the ring, the next time we see a Shield thing like the fist bump will only be in a WWE Hall of Fame, and that's even if Ambrose accepts it.
Yeah, because even then, but even from WWE side, how do you put someone in the Hall of Fame that is still arguably in their prime and young, wrestling for a rival company? How can you do that? You can't.
You can't. It'll be after they retire. They'll retire, and I think it'll be at that
we're
time
talking about now, like we've been in this stream, Survivor Series 2012, the debut of the Shield. Of course, they've been around for years. They've been in NXT. They've been doing the Indies, especially, of course, Moxley and Tyler Black. Yeah. But this is only 10 years ago, Rob.
Another 10 years. If we're still doing this in 10 years' time, right? I reckon if the Shield have retired by that time, Roman's already winding down his contract. Like, he's doing less dates.
I can imagine in 10 years' time, let's do that. Let's do it. Let's book the Shield in 10 years' time. I can imagine in 10 years' time that Roman is retired because, like you say, Roman winding down his dates, it seems. I imagine Moxley's retired.
Is he still bleeding?
He's still bleeding. But Seth Rollins is still in the WWE.
If he's not in the WWE, he's head trainer at NXT, at the Performance Center. He has a job there or NXT.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so interesting. And like you say, I can see it. I can see the Hall of Fame, the three of them. That's a great moment. Either way, like whether or not they come back, they don't, or whatever. Someday at the Hall of Fame, they'll put their three hands together. Yeah. I think.
I think that'll be the next time we see it, or it'll be. There'll be a moment. There'll be something. Something would have happened in wrestling, like a pinnacle moment in wrestling.
To mean they come together.
Like I don't want to say a funeral, but
yeah, but I get what you're saying.
It's one of those sort of. There's got to be a reason for them to be pulled together again.
Yeah, God forbid, like if one of them passed away and the two of them come together, even if they're on rival companies, I could see that. Yeah, that would be a thing. But yeah, it's
all
something like that.
Together.
Which of course we hope it's not. But yeah, that is the next time we see a Shield fist bump is going to be either something dramatic where something horrible has happened, or the Hall of Fame, or somehow something crazy has happened and the two of them have left WWE, or the other one has left AEW, which is the more likely because the numbers game. But still, even that seems a long way out. I mean, but either way,
Imagine even if it was a case of we see this Triple H booking, there's a different feel to it. Like it's completely different to have Vince run things. It was a different type, basically a different ship, completely different show. And let's say Dean had spoken to Roman and Seth and said, like, what's it like? You know, or if there's feelers put out there, and then because you don't know at the moment. Last time Ambrose was there or Moxley was there,
different.
It was under Triple. It was under Vince McMahon's booking.
Yeah.
So
and a
now
really
it's
strange time
world.
as well.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's a different world now.
Yeah.
You know, so anything can happen. I mean, put it this way: if the likes of Braun's come back, the OC have come back, and they put a thing on Twitter saying we're never going back to WWE, and they've gone back. So
yeah.
You know, it depends on your morals. I know Punk was always, I'll never go back to a wrestling company. AEW come knocking, and
yeah,
came
things
back.
changed.
Okay, it didn't last that long, so we know of at the moment.
Yeah.
Anything can happen in wrestling. Wrestlers never say never. Kind of like being a James Bond, isn't it? Or being a Doctor Who. Like, never say never, because David Tennant come back.
yeah, that's it. So,
you know, spoiler, but you know.
let's go back to the Shield then, right? And move away from Doctor Who. If it comes to you and you're being asked to give your greatest factions of all time, I think that, again, that could be a podcast on its own. So let's not do it like that. But in your opinion, does the Shield at least have an argument for the greatest, even if it's not your pick?
I would say yes, because they done less in 20 months than a lot of factions did in 4 or 5 years of them being together. And then even that, for let's say, even if you had them as a tag team, right? Just as a tag team. I know you don't like the Freebird rule and all that stuff, which I never did. But let's say, give me a tag team, any tag team, but the
Usos,
like even the Usos, right? Jimmy and Jay come as a pair. What has one done without the other than Jay done the stuff with Roman because Jimmy was injured?
Yeah, it could have been the main event, Jay Uso more, but
even the Freebirds, right? Who I don't know why I didn't think of them first, right? But the Freebirds, what did one do more successful than the other one? All three of them are Grand Slam champions. All three of them.
I mean, I think the closest thing you can do is so here, the closest ones that I think probably end up being in the top 5 as well are the Horsemen. But even still, Ric Flair is above and beyond. Evolution, which I think is probably the closest comparison we can ever get. Because especially when we put Flair in that, but most of what he did, of course, was before he even made that stable. And then you've got DX, because they were so influential and there was a lot of success of them as a team. But realistically, if you're talking world title and Grand Slams, it is, it's 2 of them. And that's not even the full group, because at the same time, Shawn and Triple H with China and Rick Rude, Shawn and Triple H with China. The others aren't, Shawn's not in it with the rest of them. DX 2000 and DX are 2 completely different things. And then you've got the NWO, which you could say Scott Hall should have been world champ. And Kevin Nash was in both WCW and WWF. Hogan is arguably one of the most successful wrestlers of all time. Even if you add those things to it, like you say, the impact of them as a group and separate is maybe you can't compare them. Like, no. I don't think it's uncomparable. It's uncomparable, and you think even again within that there were, and this is kind of regrets. I think there should have been a triple threat between the 3 of them. There should have been a title match like that. I know there were times where they all kind of, you think a century, that is a cash in on Roman. Because of how Roman was kind of booked in, they put themselves into the corner with that Brock and Roman thing, and it worked out amazingly to have Seth. And then Ambrose's win was never quite what Seth's was, and it was never quite pushed as much as Roman's was, but Ambrose was the champion. I don't want to devalue Ambrose. I think what he did was great, and I think at another time,
the fun run.
I always thought he was going to be the best one. I always thought he was going to be the most important, most successful. I thought he was going to be the one that turned. He'd be the heel. And then you go to his AEW stuff, being AEW champion, he made that mean something as well, So, again, equal in a lot of terms, but at the same time, I would have loved to seen it all at once and then together go against each other. But for me, yeah, I think they've got to be in the conversation because separately, 3 of the best of all time, together, 1 of the best of all time.
Yeah,
there's not much more
a
you can say
collective
about
unit. Them 3 guys
it's
are
just
incredible.
So good. So
and
whether or not we see them together again, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say especially. I think I sent. Did I send it? I might have sent the video to you. I might have sent it in the group chat. But pre-injury Rollins was on a whole different level. Man, that guy was insane.
Reminds me actually something we should mention because it's been a bit of a kind of look back on the Shield's career as a whole, really. But something that I think would be wrong to miss out is their feud against the Wyatts, because those matches between them, and I think that
they made each other.
Was that from that same match? Because I remember flying about in those matches.
Yeah, that was the match when he drives over, hits, he
Oh.
throws one out, then hits the other one, then flies out again, then suicide dives, and then he does the kick with, I think it's Harper that comes back over the other side of the ring. Seth was on like a it was another level. It was absolutely
that was Seth jumping over the rope, over the barrier, rolling in.
That was Seth like flipping over the rope and landing feet first.
Yeah,
that was that Seth. That was crazy Seth.
It's we've been lucky to see, and I think they stumbled into it from again doing this watch along with Survivor Series 2012. They didn't really know what they were doing. It's a company at the time that are all over the place, a lot of potential, but my goodness, they strike it lucky with M3. So
did you hear what Dean said they were called before they were the Shield? They were called 2 indie schmucks and a football player. That's what they said they brought in. And when you just think, but
that's a perfect combo. Like that nowadays, WWE are talking about, and Triple H is talking about how they want to build this superstar where they convert someone that was an athlete, which for many years was something they tried to do in the late 90s. They tried to really put across how they were athletes rather than kind of this.
He only worked with Angle, in my opinion.
And then they had a time where they went really like too much for that. And then they went really indie-fied. So you could argue that NXT was the super indie for a bit.
Yeah.
And then they've gone the other way. And I think it's a mix of the two that you need.
Yeah.
And the Shield is a perfect example of that. But then you could also say, but then ain't like Roman Reigns didn't have pedigree in the wrestling industry himself. He ain't just some random football player from the outside. He is of wrestling royalty, so it kind of goes the other way there. But no, I appreciate that kind of analogy of the 3 of them and the way they were looked at when they come in, because
love the Shield.
They proved it. Yeah, they loved.
So no, I had a Shield t-shirt.
Oh, mate, another t-shirt you had there as well. I never had a Shield shirt. I wish I did. I wish I had a face mask, because that would have been fun to wear for you.
You can get them on Amazon, by the way. And if you want to shop through the RN Amazon link.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Nice one. But yeah, I agree with you. Shield are one of the best stables of all time. Unbelievable individually as well. And hopefully we get to see him again in some capacity. But it's been great looking back on the kind of origins of the Shield, really. Of course, beyond this, it goes to NXT and FCW as well. But this is when they really kick off. Touching on the show before we get out of here, Rob, we spent so long talking about the Shield themselves because, to be fair, it is the most important thing to come out of this show. What did you think about the show overall? Again, I think we kind of have similar opinions because we've mentioned it as we go along. But for me, it was just a mega Raw.
I was about to say it's a glorified Raw show. That's what it was. With a main event at the end. that was it.
I mean,
it wasn't even a great main event.
The opening, it weren't. The opening match was really good. It was pay-per-view standards, opener of a pay-per-view. The 5-on-5 was pretty good as well, pay-per-view standard.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it, though, I don't know if it's the way it's booked. It's just a strange time in WWE that we look back on, and I'm not surprised. I remember so little of so much of it, and the things that stand out aren't even, like you say, the main event weren't even that good, but what happens at the end because of what it led to. But I remember at the time being super excited about what happened with the Shield. But I think we were clutching on straws to find something interesting about these shows, to be honest, man. I think looking back on it, the PG era was in full swing, and I hate when people kind of use that as an excuse. But there was a lot of nothingness going on this show.
Yeah. Do you know what it felt like? I'd say a glorified Raw, but a glorified Raw and a go-home show.
Okay, yeah.
Like stuff happened, but nothing happened.
But kind of meant something. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm trying to think. Eve Torres and what's her name? Caitlin. That match, the awful finish. I'm not saying that they were bad, but the finish was a bit. Meh.
Yeah, just when it was getting going good. Antonio Cesaro versus R-Truth. Filler.
That was probably the better match, and that was slow.
Yeah, that was very slow. The main event, the world title match, could have been at a house show. Let's be honest.
I would say the match for me, other than the 5-on-5 elimination with like with Ziggler winning or the tag one, both of them were great. But Sheamus versus Big Show was great. I enjoyed it. I mean, you went to the toilet through some of it.
Yeah, well, from what I saw, Sheamus versus Big Show would have been good at a random C pay-per-view.
It felt like an Extreme Rules.
Yeah, exactly that. But this is Survivor Series. Again, I know it's been forgotten about many times, up and down, how they kind of promote it. But at the beginning of the show, they hype it as one of the big ones. And for me, it didn't deliver. This was a below average pay-per-view, let alone a Survivor Series level pay-per-view. And that is...
Yeah.
And I just feel like if we look back on 2012, it'd be interesting to do the whole years as a whole thing, because what did we think at the time? I feel like this was the best of a bad bunch, and if this is that, then that is shocking. You know, I feel like they were in a real kind of interesting space in 2012. Again, a lot of potential, a lot of interesting and exciting possibilities, but not much really going on for a lot of it. And I think we were clutching on straws. Definitely, I go back to the comment again. I feel like if we look back on that year, surely we are clutching on straws for a lot of it, because this is for Survivor Series to be. If we had to grade it, I'd say a C.
Yeah.
But I wonder if within the year I would have called it a B+.
I feel like I need to watch I'd need to watch. I don't know. I think if we went back and watched, like we watched Survivor Series 2002, right?
Yeah.
And we knew exactly what was happening. Yes, okay, it's more in our memory because it was more, for us, it's more iconic.
Nostalgic period, yeah.
Nostalgic, right? But I wouldn't have to watch Raw to find out what happened. In this, I was like, why are they feuding? Why are they feuding?
Exactly.
Why is this happening?
There was so many guys that you go, wait, is this when they're face or they're heel? Like even with Ziggler, as we said, 4 months later, AJ Lee and Big E are with him. What?
And he gets the one of the pops of that.
And he's a heel though, but he gets a pop because people want him to do well. But wow, what? Yeah, is this like?
It's strange. No, the promo packages were bad. The build-up was bad. The show itself wasn't the best. I don't know. It felt like at that time it delivered, but it doesn't now when you watch it, and it didn't.
We were starved for good wrestling then. Do you know what I mean? Like, I hate to be negative about it, but wow. And whose fault is that? You look at some of the people on the card, and you think, "Oh, I don't want to be talking bad about you," but
I would go out on a limb and say you can pick any NXT takeover from 2008, 17, 18, 16, 17, and 18.
Yeah.
You can pick any one of those, put it against this, and that NXT takeover would be miles better than this.
Mate, you can give me one match of any of those. They were better than some of the WWE shows at the time. Yeah. And WWE was better then than it was here.
Yeah.
But no, this is
it's
real
crazy.
Strange to see. And again, people could argue, you know, what we wanted at the time. What do we want? We wanted Punk on top. And some people will go, oh, there you go, Punk was on top. We want a good time. But I think it's so damaged by really weird writing and booking. Like you say, you go back to the promos, they were weird, man. Like that weren't about, and even the women's match, that weren't about performance. That was about kind of the system for me. So
where was the promo package? The only promo package that we see as a build-up was the final match.
There was one of Sheamus. There was one of Sheamus and Big Show.
Oh, the Sheamus and Big Show.
Yeah.
And the other one, the women's match, not really a build-up.
No, that weird backstage thing, and
that was it. That's all we got, and then nothing else. Like I enjoy a good promo package. If I've missed the Raw, I want to see what happened. Show me what happened over the last week.
And the matches that needed it, ironically, got nothing. Well, for us as 10 years out, like we would have watched this at the time, but
I can't remember a thing.
Yeah, and like I say, 2002 is such a difference.
Yeah.
It is such a difference between 2012 and 2022. I'm thankful to say is much better than 2012. We ain't got to that Survivor Series yet, but I'm pretty confident that it's going to be better than 2012. And I'm shocked I'm saying that because this is the thing. I have a bit of a soft spot for this period. Some things for it. Zack Ryder, CM Punk, Team Hell No, things like that. And some of the stars that nearly become something. Dolph Ziggler's kind of rise and stuff like that. But my goodness, it just screams disappointment. How many things they let go of, and didn't kind of make a thing out of. But Daniel asks, is Shield be on? Yes, Dan. You must have dropped out and come back. But yeah, we've had the Shield. We've had a long conversation about the Shield. To be honest, we're probably going to kind of clip this up and make it a thing on the channel anyway. So anyway, thank you very much for joining us, everyone that was live or on demand, whether you're hopped in or hopped out or you're watching us later than the actual stream. I want to thank Rob for being on with me once again, mate. Reliable Rob joining me here talking about Survivor Series 2012. Again, if you like this sort of thing, you want to see more watch-alongs, we've done SummerSlam 92, we've done SummerSlam 2002, we've done ECW 1 Night 2005, and we've done Survivor Series 2002 before, of course, we got here today with 2012 as well. But yeah, it's been good chatting wrestling with you again, Rob. We're going to be back soon, of course. If you're watching live or on demand, it depends. But live, of course, we're talking about the future with the upcoming War Games Survivor Series. We'll be back for that, of course, with a build-up show, predictions and preview, recap and review, and lots more podcasts. Even in this own show itself, we found a lot of ideas for new shows to do as well. So we're excited for that. If you're new here, please subscribe. If you've been here a few times, if you haven't already, again, please subscribe. Once again, Rob, thank you very much for joining me. And next pay-per-view we're doing, well, again, we're going to be doing Survivor Series as far as real-time stuff. But classic stuff, I'm not too sure. TLC usually comes in December, but it's not, is it? So, go on.
It's a bit of a punt. What about an ECW December one?
What, December 2? Oh, yeah, but that went down so badly the first time. I don't know. If we would have moaned about it, maybe. Other than that, I think the closest thing in this traditional calendar would be Royal Rumble, which, of course, our coverage for the upcoming Royal Rumble will be big anyway. But I do think it's time for us to do some classic Rumbles as well. So if we don't do any until then, classic-wise, the next one might be the Royal Rumble. But, of course, modern-day stuff will be touching on the PLEs before then anyway. So thank you very much for joining us. Once again, thank you to you, Rob. And thank you to everyone on demand and live. We really do appreciate it. And we'll see you very soon for the next stream here on the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. Thank you. Goodbye.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.